Fuck it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Offended and Unfriended.
We're here.
We're here. It's Monday.
I woke up for you.
From your eyes.
I'm JP. We got Gene and Jesse here.
Hey.
And we're, it's Monday and it's raining.
Yeah.
All Lion fans, you're welcome. After last week's podcast, someone obviously watched it and fired their head coach. You're welcome. Thank you. Chicago, you don't win this week. You're next.
welcome.
You're welcome. The Lions suck. Matt Patricia sucked. You have Matthew Stanford. You sucked.
Stafford.
And an unhealthy Kenny Galladay sitting on my bench all year.
There's no reason why the Lions should be so bad. Okay, and I forgot
The Lions are stacked.
I forgot the name, but the name of the previous coach was Jim Caldwell. Mm-hmm. He was a calm, quiet demeanor black guy, like even quieter than Herm Edwards, like one of those guys.
That was the problem. He needed to be like Herm Edwards wasn't quiet.
No, but like sideline quiet. Herm Edwards is motivational, blah, blah, but like, you know what I mean?
Are
like
you saying Herm Edwards was boisterous?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't see that.
I don't think
He
so.
wasn't Rex Ryan boisterous, but when he was on a mic, man, he made his
No.
words
I'm talking
were
about
like,
in-game.
He was a good public speaker.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm talking about in-game sideline.
I understand.
Yeah.
Like, there was never any game time antics.
Yeah,
or,
like
you know what I mean?
grab the
Like,
helmet guy. Like,
Right,
that's
he was
what I like.
he was a
know.
respectful coach.
And then I had to
Yes.
watch him destroy the play clock management against
the Pittsburgh
Baltimore.
Steelers.
No, it was against Baltimore.
No, he did against the Steelers too.
I'm sure
I
he
was in
did, but
I was in a bar
the
and I threw up.
legendary one was against Baltimore.
Jet fans.
Yeah.
I was at that game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jet fans. I had a big argument in
So dumb.
Yo, you know what's the
I
best?
watched Ed Reed take
I just
one
want
back.
to say
All right, Giants are number one in the division.
there it is.
I
baby.
saw that
There it
coming.
is. Number one in the worst division in the league. I love it.
You know what? He made a great point. We talked about it earlier.
Don't let that Giants
Daniel
defense.
Jones
Don't let
has-
that Giants defense fool you.
Daniel Jones has a hamstring, and this is a critical moment in Giant history right now.
Yep.
You play him next year. He has an aggravated next week. He has an aggravated hamstring for the rest of his life, or you just give him a fucking week off, because you know that's what's going to happen.
I mean, listen.
you know
let's
that's
be
what's
real
going to
here.
happen.
I think
He's
Daniel
playing.
Jones can be developed into a good quarterback.
Good. Which I agree, because to be honest
Yeah.
with you, Phil Simms, when I first saw Phil Simms, I didn't think, oh my God, that guy jumped off the page and he's going to be the world's greatest quarterback. But he was serviceable. He won a Super Bowl.
He managed games well.
And so I think Giants can get away with that type of stuff. Like Eli Manning's not the greatest. He's a very good game manager that shows up on big games. So I think that.
I think that Danny Dimes he's got some molding to do. Like he's not.
Danny
he
Nichols.
What I'm saying is
No
no
Dimes
Dimes.
No Dimes.
Gotta cash in. You gotta cash in.
Yeah.
He had a couple of good. He has always a couple of good passes a game.
He's got to trade in those small
That's it.
numbers for some bigger numbers.
Yeah.
I like that he runs.
Yeah.
That's what I like about him.
What my point is that I don't think the Giants necessarily need him on the field to win next week.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that Wayne Gallman is the truth, and I've been saying this for a minute. Like, I don't know, like the whole Devonta Freeman thing, like I understood that move for the name, but it's like,
Nah, they just
You
did
got-
that.
you got the guy.
They did
Like,
that for they
Wayne
did that.
Gallman has always been your number two, like behind Saquon, and like I think I'm actually looking forward to next year.
You know what
because
that reminds me of?
If they go to a committee back, like that could be dangerous.
You know what that reminds me of?
to have. You know what I'm saying?
No, they're not going to go to committee.
They're not
Maybe
gonna-
if they're worried about
Barkley. They're not going to
Once
hurt Barkley again.
yeah,
They're
once
not going to hurt Barkley again.
Once Barkley proves that he's not hurt, they're going to be like, all right, Gallman.
Yeah, but there's
Sure.
there's always going to be reservations.
Sit down now.
Saquon wasn't getting it done. Game one. I mean, I guess that's unfair to say.
Yeah, sorry.
No, but Saquon, people.
He was struggling.
No,
He didn't
but-
play preseason, so you can't say, well, he sucked in preseason.
He doesn't really,
Yeah,
he doesn't really
that's
struggle
true.
because Saquon's running style is like 2 yards, 2 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards, 80.
60.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you like when people say he struggled, I'm like he just didn't do it yet. Like
Right.
the one
Yeah,
thing
no,
that
I mean, you know what it is, the
he
Giants-
didn't
get that 60-yard
It could
pop
be third
yet.
quarter, it could be first quarter.
I refuse to believe that the Giants' offensive line has progressively gotten better throughout the season. Like, sure, yes, there was no preseason, so it would take a couple of games for people, I guess, to click and things like that to happen. I totally get that.
1,000
But-
injuries day one,
Right,
week one.
But I'm saying, like, you're gonna say all of a sudden the Giants' offensive line are opening up these massive holes for Wayne Gallman, and they could. No, Wayne Gallman's just always been a good running back. Like he
Maybe
could
they trade him.
Maybe they trade him. I think that he could be an RB1 for
You know who that reminds me
for
of?
some teams out
You know
there.
what that reminds me of? Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds should be the starter in Arizona. I don't know why he's not. They still put that bum. What's his name?
Kenyon Drake.
Yeah. He's a bum.
He is a bum. He had a great
bum.
season last year.
All right.
Coaches know what they know.
Whatever. I'm just bitching about my fantasy downfall right now.
I'm really pissed off at you about that. I needed you to win this week. Everyone that I needed
Carr?
to lose.
Really? Carr is going to put up 0.6?
I know, that was ridiculous.
And then I got Rivers on the
What the
bench
fuck
with
was that?
21.
I watched the highlights last
What
night
was
on
that?
the
It's
NFL
Atlanta.
app.
I'm like, put Carr.
I agree, bro.
Rivers, Carr.
In my other league, I faced Reynolds, and Reynolds did the same thing. He put Carr in.
But he's a Raiders fan, so he had no choice.
Yeah.
He was done.
Well, I actually game time decision. Oh shit, Julio Jones is out. I'm like, oh shit! Of
What'd you
course,
do?
I changed my name to injury prone
Yeah, nice.
this year because literally every week it's one or two of my starters get injured and I have to, so whatever. So game time decision here. Julio Jones out. I'm like, fuck. What do I do? I got Hunter Renfrow on my bench, and I'm like, it's the Raiders. They're playing Atlanta. He's the slot guy.
No.
It could be. He wound up putting up 14.5 points for me.
I don't know how it's possible.
That's what I said.
Carr
I go,
puts up 0.6.
But then I watched the highlights. I watched the game highlights late last night. He had like 3 picks, 2 fumbles. Like, Derek Carr was a mess yesterday.
Yeah, 2 fumbles. And the best
3 fumbles?
Yeah, the best part, he goes,
fumbles? Yeah.
on the press conference, he goes,
bro, it was just negative.
He's like,
the fact that you got positive points or positive decimal points.
Dude, he was like,
you should be happy you didn't get negative.
He blamed it on the week of practice too. I was just like, what?
Did he?
He was like,
No,
yeah.
I hate that.
He goes,
just be like, Al.
He goes,
Defense was on me.
He goes, the week
There
of
were teams that came out without practice and just murdered it too. I forgot which team it was.
No, he's just saying that they didn't.
Of course he was just saying that.
People love to say that we had a great week of practice and go out and play.
Right,
And basically he's saying,
we didn't have a great
we didn't have a good week.
Yeah.
I got my ass bust.
What happened
I
is-
saw this coming.
what's happening
He
is
just didn't
these-
want to say it like that.
He's trying to justify paying Gruden millions of dollars.
No, you can't say that because John Gruden.
Oh, I'm saying
John Gruden.
I'm saying it right
they're
now,
competitive in
again.
the second year. Like, listen, I have beef with John Gruden, but they're competitive in the second year, and they take they're the only people who play the
Gruden's
Kansas Chiefs
out of his mind.
correctly. Everybody, it's a video game offense.
He had his own, pretty much his own show within the show.
Yeah, but come
Kansas
on.
City is just
Yeah,
is
Gruden's. What was
It's
it?
a video game
Gruden's
offense.
Gridiron, some shit. What the hell was it called?
The Gridiron
Gridiron Gang or
Yeah, but I was getting annoyed because he would sit there and
Whatever.
he would sit there and the quarterback room used to drive me crazy because
Oh, I loved it. He'd say, "Well, you see that? We see what you just did there. Will you do that again?" And they're like, "I guess no."
he's like, all right. Then he brings it to
This
the
is
field.
awesome right now.
He brings it to the field. He goes, I'm going to call a play and I want you to do it.
That's awesome.
Jet sweep. And they're like, what? Then the agent's like, just do it. Just do it. It's good for your ranks.
yeah, man.
He actually was good because
are you talking
quarterbacks
about?
would go to that stupid Gruden grinder.
That's
Grinder, that's it. Yeah.
And then they would come out higher in their
ranking.
which is that's how much power he had. Like that's
crazy.
I know. Like, you gotta really think about that.
But
Like,
people-
just talking to that guy could get you $20 more million over a lifetime.
Did you ever see it on the
sure.
Dan Patrick show? He gives the player their scouting report, but he only gives them the negatives of the scouting report.
No.
Oh, it's great.
Who's
You
that?
gotta watch it. He did Drew Brees. He did Aaron Rodgers. He did Barkley, and he would give him. They
I
would
can't
take
imagine
out
the Aaron
all.
Rodgers one.
Oh, bro, he was getting lit up too.
yeah, 'cause
Rodgers.
I can see Aaron Rodgers
And
going,
Rodgers
"What?"
just laughing, and then he folded it up. He put it in his pocket, and they went on with their interview.
Yeah.
Yo, that's funny. I like
would-
that. That's
yeah, I
cool.
would-
Drew Brees took his. He kept his, and I think he said he's gonna put it in his locker. Like, it's funny.
I like that. That's good.
But Drew Brees can't throw deep. We know what it is. He can't throw deep. No,
Drew
the
Brees
guy
was
hasn't
probably
thrown
that
deep
guy.
in
He's
3 years, and
4'7".
He's getting away with it. He's getting away with it.
Drew Brees,
He hasn't thrown deep in 3 years.
They were laughing that he was like 4'5". He's always got his neck craned. Every play he's like this. Fucking, what's going on with every play?
Which is funny because
that guy's gonna have a neck brace on.
you know
when
what's
he's done
funny about
playing
that?
for
If
the
you
rest
watch
of his life.
the Patriot game against Arizona, the D linemen would run in and then they all stop and they just kept jumping up and down. And
yeah.
And then they got interceptions like that. I'm like, did this guy really study Kyler Murray? He's like, yo,
Short.
He's short. Just jump.
Just jump.
I'm
Right.
like, this was a plan and it worked. It bothers me because it worked.
It's funny because I was watching the replays. I'm like, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah,
And they're like,
they would run halfway and start jumping. I'm like, he must have been like, I can imagine what he's seeing. He's like,
It's like it looks like 6th grade
I
basketball.
know. Receivers open. Receivers open. What the fuck is 95? Receivers open. 83. You're like, I can't see those numbers.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I just got dizzy for that. Thank you, Gene.
What about those Denver Broncos?
Bro.
They weren't there.
Their starting quarterback was.
First of all,
I'd still pick them over the Jets.
First of all, if I'm John Elway, I would have flipped the fuck out because there's COVID. Why are there 4 quarterbacks in the same room? Okay, Buffalo Bills have a quarterback, believe it or not, on reserve. Like, he doesn't even go to the team meetings. He's already quarantined in case something goes down.
Right.
He steps right in. So there's Josh Allen in the backup, number 2. They go to the meeting. He doesn't. He has his own little Zoom.
He has his own shit going on. Yeah, that's good.
It's because it's called managing.
I hate it, but that's proactive.
It's managing through a pandemic. Yeah. Why would the Denver Broncos have all their guys in the same room? And then you're telling me the best thing you can do
all their
because
guys.
it's Denver, man.
I know, but
all their quarterbacks.
You know, like whatever, man.
Yo, they have
Denver.
a practice receiver. Okay, think about this. He's a practice receiver, not even a starting receiver. He's a practice receiver who played quarterback in college. That they made.
No, not college. Did he play college?
Yeah,
but
they
they said
converted
high
him to a wide receiver
in college.
In college. What does that tell you?
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought that he was a high school quarterback and they converted
Maybe
him
he
in
was.
college.
No. He was
a receiver.
He played college quarterback, but he threw picks, and they obviously were like, you're fast.
Right, you're an athlete.
Yeah, to give him that.
Can you catch a ball?
Can you catch a ball? Yeah. Yo, I don't know. That one pass that he threw to Jerry Jeudy was just like, oh, yo. You know what I mean? Like, you were way off. You didn't. Like, I played quarterback for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I'm just like, my whole thing is,
Bro,
my whole thing is,
you can't really fault them.
it's not one of those like situations where I was like, yo, I could do a better job than this guy. But there was a couple times during those highlights that I'm like,
yo, he had one completion.
Like, I could do better than this guy.
I know, but he had one completion. Like, literally, I would have called a screen because I would have got my 2. Like, yeah, like I would have got my second completion. Like, fuck out of here. I mean, screen, lateral, something. I would have come up with something.
Crazy,
Bro, that play where like a receiver or running back just runs across and they just kind of toss it up. That's a reception right there.
Exactly. As long as I'm behind you, yeah.
No, if he's behind, no.
No.
As long
In
as
the front of him, they just kind of
they
just like leave it in the air.
That they do.
Yeah.
I did 3 of those. I would bring it for 3 of those.
Word. Yeah, just take
More
it.
receptions, bro.
They'd be like, what are you doing? I started
And that's
myself.
not even the biggest news in sports.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? Hold on. Before you get into the biggest news in sports, just because I wanted to shun you for this, because let's talk about Ronald Jones for a quick second. Not that I want to get into.
Why? Because are we talking about? What are we talking about?
I'm talking about A, how you benched him, and B, how I don't understand how anyone in fantasy
That wouldn't have won me the
guy.
game anyway. So
I understand that, but he is such an overlooked.
he had a bunch of bad.
Player.
He had a bunch
Yeah,
of like weeks recently.
Fine,
and it's hard to.
I'm not trying to discredit you and your GM skills.
Okay,
I'm just talking
but
about
now-
Ronald Jones. This guy is fucking good.
I think so.
I know.
People
I know.
overlook him, and it was.
Hashtag keeper.
He's not a household name
is
yet.
he keeper of yours?
I think he's gonna have to be.
Yeah.
I lose out on Kamara, who's useless with Hill, Taysom Hill, and
Yeah.
Kamara's like, nah, I'll run it. They're like, nah, you're the best running back in the league. Nah, we don't need it. We got this white dude
Nah, it's gonna change.
running around like oh, he's the next freaking whatever the hell his name is.
Josh Allen.
No. They didn't say Josh Allen. Why can't I?
Don't say Steve Young. I'll
yes,
lose my mind.
that's what they were saying.
That's
what they were saying. Not
blasphemy.
me.
That's fucking blasphemy, bro.
Yeah, I don't know about
Steve
that.
Young is a Hall of Famer.
That's what they say, but they
I know,
gotta
but
say
it's
he's the next.
That's
So who are
blasphemy.
they gonna pick? He's a white dude who runs.
Okay,
Steve
you know
Young.
what? No. I can understand that comparison there.
No.
Because hear me out for a second before you shut it down. Steve Young had whom?
Jay Rice.
Joe Montana.
Okay, Joe Montana.
He filled in after Joe Montana. So what they're essentially doing is they're comparing Drew Brees to Joe Montana. They're saying that
No, they
Yes.
never mentioned Drew Brees' name or
I
Montana's
see what
name.
he's saying. He's saying
I know what you're saying.
Steve
saying
Young
as far
was
as a
so
start.
good
Is Drew
because
Brees
he had years behind
A future Hall of Fame.
arguably one of the best quarterbacks.
A Hall of Fame.
You know what I'm saying?
not an
And now,
argument. He is
and
one of
now
those.
Taysom Hill
Listen, they're still kicking
is
ass.
behind arguably one of the best quarterbacks. Like, I mean, Drew Brees is certainly in a conversation.
He's top
Every
five
time he
all
throws,
time.
You know,
every
like-
time he throws a touchdown, he breaks a record.
Right. That's you know what
about
I mean.
that.
Like, so I can
That's pretty
understand
cool.
that comparison. You can't say that. You can't compare Taysom Hill to Steve Young yet.
No, they're just
But
saying.
I get what they're doing there. They're
because
saying that
Steve
this
Young
kid
ran?
is right. This
Taysom
kid
Hill runs.
is a mobile quarterback with an arm. Steve Young was a
With an
mobile
arm.
quarterback with an arm who played behind
I know, but
one of the
it's-
greatest.
It's really
yeah,
bad.
I get it.
It's really bad.
I get it. No, Taysom Hill needs to fucking prove himself.
Yeah, it's
I'm
really
pissed
bad.
off because I got Michael Thomas in my starting lineup.
I'll
and,
compare him to Tim
you know,
Tebow.
you don't put up double digits.
I'll compare him
I'm
to
all
Tim
pissed.
Tebow. There you go. He's that's who I'll compare him to. Yeah, I said it.
Let's get into it. What are we talking about today?
Oh man! Well, they should have just. You know what? You know what Denver should have did? They should have took Nate Robinson and let him play
Oh my
instead of
God.
letting
Did you
Nate
watch the
Robinson
fight?
go by. No, I did not.
I
but
ordered it.
I watched.
You
did?
ordered it?
Fuck yeah.
Good for you. Good
Bro,
for
are you
you.
kidding me? It's like I'm
No,
reliving my
I was
childhood
working,
here.
so
You
I-
know,
No,
like
I'm happy.
Tyson's fighting. Like I'm in, bro.
I didn't do it
You
because
should have kept the beard though.
I didn't do it because I was at work. But I'm happy.
He looked old as shit
I'm
without the
happy
beard.
people ordered the fight. And
Yeah.
Well, it was for also charity, so you basically.
No, but not just that, but
Bro,
like
I didn't order it for charity. I ordered it for sheer
just saying,
selfishness.
listen, I agree.
Your
I
money-
want to watch these two OGs go at it.
There's
you
the
know?
money after those guys got paid. The rest went to.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Listen, Mike Tyson.
30 million.
Mike Tyson was our childhood,
It's 10.
and on top
No,
of my,
Tyson got 30.
A couple of reports said that he
no,
didn't.
it was one, but he can make
Oh.
up to I think 6, and then the other guy was 1, and he can make up to 3. I don't know what the stipulations that makes them more money, but
Oh yeah, I read
They're
something that Tyson himself was getting 30 mil
no,
for
no,
this.
no. Maybe
I was like, that is absurd.
Yeah, no.
No?
Not in a
Okay.
not in a pandemic with empty seats.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wasn't that
Because
strange?
they
Oh, you
could've
guys
made-
didn't watch it, did you?
No.
It was very strange seeing that. Like,
Yeah.
But let's get back to it. Nate Robinson got knocked the fuck out. Like,
Man.
bro,
Okay, I feel
is Jake Paul
you know
for
what's
real?
funny?
Like,
Well,
is he
you know
is he for
he's
real?
obviously training for real.
Is he for real, bro? That was a shot.
And there's a bunch of basketball players going, I want to fight him now. I want to fight
Yeah.
him. And Andrew Schultz was like, I don't know, man. Because Andrew Schultz used to box.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was a
kinda
boxer.
looks like a boxer. He's got
Yeah,
that
he would.
fucked up grill like that. you know,
Yeah,
like-
right? He's got that. Yeah, you
Like
box
I've been
kind of
punched
look.
in the face a few times.
that
You know,
Irish boxing.
Yeah,
look.
He's Scottish. Yeah, he's got that.
Yeah.
You know, just saying, like his nose is a little
Yeah.
flat, and like he's gotten
Yeah.
punched. You know,
He's got that look. But
Yeah.
he said, he goes, I don't know, man. Jake Paul looks like
He
he's
looks-
been training.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
You're
is
gonna-
Jake Paul like
just
the real deal?
Just because you're a good athlete doesn't mean you can box.
That you can fight.
No, but I'll
Yeah.
tell you this. Okay, you're right, but there's a couple things to this too. Nate, okay,
That looked like a weak jaw. to be honest
you
with
train.
Go on.
Okay, you train
Definitely.
in any sport.
But I don't mean to cut. I'm
Okay.
sorry, but Jake Paul, like that was
It didn't look
clean.
like yeah, but it didn't look like this massive. Like it just like
It
he
was
was
technique.
Just,
It was
it's
all
timing.
technique, bro. He came across
I know.
and just
But that's what
It's
happened
technique.
because I didn't watch the Tyson one, but I did watch the Nate one, and I'll tell you this: it's weird because in sports, it's like. You train. You go. That's why you have practice. You train and
train,
you do. And Nate Robinson went in there and abandoned all the training. Like he kept running. No, because he kept running at him. And I'm like, this is not going to
that
end
could
well.
have been the training, though, right? Like,
No, the
get
training.
in him, get
no,
in his face.
No, they were saying that he was training, and people were saying he was Mayweather-esque. I'm not. obviously-
Oh, really?
They were
Oh,
saying,
so, like-
they were saying like he knew what to do,
Out,
but when he
fit.
went in the
Right.
fucking ring, I guess he thought it was
street fight.
Yeah, and they,
Yeah.
And
tell
they-
you what, this is
'cause
great for Jake Paul.
Oh, yeah,
he's gonna be making cash
he's
boxing.
training. He's training forever. And
He's gonna abandon his.
and how can I not support a YouTuber? How can I not support a YouTuber?
He's gonna abandon that show. He's gonna be like, fuck this. Well, how many million am I gonna make the boxing one? Yeah, I'll take it.
Actually, he called out McGregor, which
I knew. I was just about to
bro,
say
he
that.
called out a list.
Everyone's gonna call
and
out
it's like,
McGregor.
bro,
Do you know
slow
why?
your roll.
you don't want those problems.
You know
You
why?
don't want McGregor yet.
Yeah, you don't want those problems.
You know why you're gonna call him McGregor? Because the amount of money.
Their weight class is different too, right?
McGregor's we don't
They
even
couldn't
answer
fight.
him.
They could.
Bro, he's about to get Jay-Z.
McGregor can go from 190 to 140
would
in a
have to
week if
put
he
on
wanted
a
to.
lot. I'm saying, and Jake Paul would have to trim down some, right? Like what was
Would
they
you
fighting?
Would you do
I
it
don't
for
know if
millions? There you go.
Yeah, I would.
There you go. You wouldn't even think twice.
Bro, I'll square up
you know
with Jake Paul.
McGregor's trying
Let's
to fight
go.
now, right?
Fight who?
Manny, he's trying to fight Pacquiao. He's trying to fight Pacquiao.
I love it. I love it.
I don't know if that's interesting. Why is that?
I don't want
Why?
to watch it, but
It has nothing to do with
I mean,
interest.
I would watch
It's
it.
just to piss off Floyd?
It's the pockets get stuffed, motherfucker. He's been walking around with pockets like this with money.
Yeah, but
You saw that plane fly
I
home?
don't
I don't
understand why
understand because-
Conor doesn't just focus back on the UFC.
no, because they'll bust his ass.
You know
Those
how
guys
much
are-
he'll make fighting Pacquiao, lose or win.
He makes more money boxing than he does doing UFC. which is
Everyone
why
makes more money
Once
boxing.
he tasted that Mayweather
Well-
money, it's like it's hard to go back.
And also, he fought Mayweather.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's
So-
the thing.
I
Exactly.
guess, yeah.
The guy's eating steaks. He doesn't want a burger no more. That's it.
It's just I don't know, Conor. Like you're
washed up and over.
Brilliant.
no, you're not that good of a boxer to be fighting these boxing
How-
legends.
listen.
like I don't know.
I don't know. He went pretty far. Listen, he went
Floyd
No,
made
no,
that
no.
apparent. Floyd
Way
gave him the
further.
fuck up, and I'm a Conor fan.
Floyd
Listen,
did that.
I'm not
It was like, yo, take the shoes off and get back in an octagon
It's-
because that's where you belong.
It's how long you let. I knew he was going to lose. Personally, I didn't say. I shouldn't say I
I
knew.
jumped on the Conor train for a minute, like, yeah, I don't know, man, he could take it.
Oh my gosh! you
Also,
guys fell for that.
Mayweather-
That's a
I did, I
promotion.
fell for it,
That's
yeah.
a marketing.
Mayweather, because I was listening on Rogan. Rogan was saying Mayweather's taken like 4 big shots in his whole career.
Right, well, that's the
fights.
thing. Is like that's what I was
like,
jumping
you
on.
can't
It's like
hit that
Conor.
motherfucker.
They say Conor's punch.
Was one of the few that one hit that he got. Yeah, he took. He
Well, they're saying that he basically Conor packs a punch
Yeah,
for
I
his
get it.
weight, right,
I get
and
it.
then some. So like that was kind of like the hype on that. Like
Let
you
me
know,
tell you
like,
something.
if Floyd does take one of those shots.
Listen, bro.
But then it could also you putting
beauty
on
of-
what was the ounce gloves that
10
they
ounce.
used? They were using 10.
I think it was 10, not the big ones, not the regular 16s. 12, 16. Yeah, it was 10.
Oh, who are you talking
No,
about right now?
Floyd and
I don't
McGregor.
remember- I don't
It was
remember.
regular.
No, I think it was regular.
It was regular boxing
Yeah, 'cause
gloves,
there's no
right?
way-
Was it
yeah.
16 ounce?
Whatever it is. I don't know what the hell it is.
What do they use in the UFC? I don't really know. I don't fucking know all these details like this. But all I know is that that's got to be a difference too, right? Like if
Bro.
you're used to UFC fighting, and then all of a sudden you're putting on these big gloves.
No, listen.
I'm saying that I feel like it's got to take away from your
He never
force.
had
Maybe not.
a shot
Fuck
in
do I know?
hell. Like Mayweather
I agree.
is a pure defensive
After
fighter.
watching it.
You know why Mayweather does very well? He's such a strong shit talker that people get caught up in just wanting him to get his.
Sure.
And then so people fall for it every time. But then
You talking Mayweather?
Yeah, but then when you watch the fight,
But I feel like-
he's not aggressive. He spends.
I wanna
he
rewatch
dances
that
the whole
fight
day.
now.
He plays defense.
But that's
and you're
the
like,
thing.
Shit,
Even
I
against
just spent
Conor.
$80 to watch this guy.
But
avoid
against
hits.
Conor,
Yes,
he
yes.
didn't do that. He didn't play defensive.
he gave you what you wanted.
Picked him apart.
No, he gave you what you
He
wanted
was
to
just
see
like,
for the
motherfucker,
first
I'm gonna
two
show you
rounds.
how to box.
Yeah, no, he showed. Listen,
Yeah.
I don't want to see him fight Pacquiao. I don't see it. I'm
No, I mean I'm not like
I'm not
okay,
interested.
if it's set up, I'll watch the
He can fight Tyson. I'll watch that.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No way.
It's not going to happen.
No, you
They're
don't think,
way out of
Mayweather
weight
is
class
brilliant
there.
in
you
the
don't think Mike
sense.
Tyson could take?
Mayweather's brilliant in the sense of let me make everyone want to see me lose.
Yes, exactly.
And they'll all pay
Yeah, it's-
to
it's-
watch me lose.
Sure.
to
Everyone
some
hates a
bum.
bad guy.
Yeah.
He's
Everyone
not
hates
going to
a
lose.
bag. Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah, that's good.
And he's been running it forever. That's why it drives me crazy.
Well, whatever. Let's get to it because Tyson fucking looked. When he first walked out, everyone in the house was just like, "Yo, he looks old." Like, Jess, what have you been talking about? I'm like,
It's also a
"Should've kept the
54-year-old
beard.
man.
He should have kept the beard.
No, but
As soon as he shaved, he looked old as shit.
Yeah.
But yo, once he started throwing them things, Tyson could still fight.
Roy Jones.
I like the way Roy Jones was fighting because Roy Jones was
just
like
the way he looked.
Roy Jones was doing the same old thing, that little bop with
What
the
do you
show.
mean? He tied him up every time.
Someone did a
Mike Tyson
reaction.
did that
No, Roy Jones was
No, Roy
tying him up
Jones-
the whole match.
because he was wearing him out. It's still a boxing match.
Didn't wear him out.
No, I know he didn't. But
And they fucking
he was
draw
trying
at the
to.
end.
Well,
Oh, I
that's
was
why.
pissed.
That's why Roy Jones was pissed that it was 2-minute rounds.
Yeah, of course. Well, he was saying that. Yeah, if it was 3
wasn't
minute
happy.
rounds, that was his strategy was to wear
Wear him out.
Tyson
Yeah,
out.
that was the whole plan. Yeah.
So now he's like, shit, I gotta fight this animal, and he ain't gonna be tired in 2
Well, I mean,
minutes.
Roy Jones didn't look like a slouch, but yeah, I feel like he started getting beat up. You know.
It makes sense. Also, like
Tyson looked good though. It was nice
Here's
to
the
see.
thing,
It was
like-
nice to see a Tyson fight again.
I'm just happy.
couldn't tell if Roy Jones was out of shape or in shape because he's like old now, so it's like his in shape looks kind of out of shape-ish.
Well, you can say the
Well,
same
they're
thing
old
with
guys.
Tyson.
Yeah,
you
they're
know?
old
Yeah, it's
like-
just weird. It's funny.
It was like it was. I was excited because they both got their like Balboa moment. You know what I mean? Where
I
it's
know.
like,
We've been watching movies about people that
Not
kept
with the
boxing.
draw, bro. Not with the draw.
well, I mean, if you really think about it,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Rocky
yeah.
Balboa, he lost at the end.
Yeah.
Mason Dixon won. So, whatever. I'm just saying, it was nice
Spoilers,
to see. Like,
dick. I'm just kidding.
it was nice to see that.
Double
You know what I
Rocky
mean? Like
59.
it's 54 years old, 51 years old. You know, Tyson's 54, right? Roy Jones is 51.
Listen, I am very.
I don't know about you, but for any old guy out there, that's hope. That's
Listen,
like motivation. That's like,
I am-
you know what I mean? Like, you're not old. You can still get in the fucking ring and throw those things. You know what I mean?
I'm extremely happy about that fight because Mike Tyson, believe it or not, Mike Tyson makes money. He has his own little weed farm thing going, and he
Little weed farm.
I know it's a huge one. He has what's it called? His podcast. But the thing about Mike Tyson, if you
He's
really,
relevant again in pop culture. That's the,
not just
you know?
that, but like if you ever listen to Mike Tyson in interviews, like there's a hole in that guy's soul from not boxing.
Sure.
And I think yesterday it was just good.
And it all started because his wife called him fat.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wife called him fat. Bro, if you listen to the two Joe Rogan interviews, it's two separate humans.
I was going to say, if you listen to if you listen to Rogan, I forget who he was talking to, but he was talking, it was recent, he was talking to someone about the last time he had Tyson on. And he was
He's been
saying
talking about it a lot.
He's saying, like, the energy was completely different. Like, the first time that he had him on, they were hanging out, they were laughing,
Don't want to
smoking
fight.
weed. Yeah.
Talking
like,
about how he doesn't want to fight because this animal is going to come out of me again.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that guy. And then
Yeah.
he goes home. Wife calls him fat. He starts jogging on a treadmill.
He says, I'm only going to do 15 minutes on the treadmill. If that turns into 2 hours on the treadmill, I'm only going to work out light, just to get that turns into training again now. I'm only going to hit the heavy bag just to keep it. And that turns into like heavy training for boxing.
Which turned into
to-
someone going,
I'll
if we
fight.
gave you millions,
Yeah.
would you fight? And he's like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But even Rogan said, he goes on that second interview, he's like, and for Joe Rogan to say this, Mr. Toxic Masculinity, to be like, I was uncomfortable sitting in the room with him. Like the energy, the change in him. It's like it was the old Tyson. He had that, like, right? He said he's like he had this energy, this different persona about him, where he was focused.
I think Tyson.
And it's like
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Like that gave me fucking goosebumps.
Tyson
I
is
was
like,
yeah.
not just. He's not even just muscle memory. He's like spiritual memory. Like he's like some type of warrior that just
Exactly.
comes back into
He went
reincarnates. Yeah,
and that awoke in that fucking beast.
yeah.
I love
That's
that.
exactly what
And then he
happened.
was in bed for a week, like he said. And then after that video, he said he was in bed for like a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he wasn't really training. And then he went hard one day training for a boxing match.
Oh, and
Working
it
out
took
and
a toll
training.
on him. Sure.
You've trained and you've
Yeah.
worked out and you've done both sides of that.
God bless Mike Tyson. What a good American story, a turnaround story.
And I'll tell you,
Oh, man.
And as,
You know?
and as far as Nate Robinson, listen.
Oh, man.
Put down the boxing gloves, bro.
No, like he shouldn't. I don't even know what to say. Like, yo, you want to be relevant. You do things to make relevant. Sometimes you can't fully plan the whole shit out. Second of all, if you're really gonna go into a ring, like you gotta really know how serious it can get. And I think that I'm not saying to take it seriously. I just think that, bro, it's like you step in that ring.
He might not have taken it seriously.
Yeah, that's.
He was talking trash, thought he was fighting some little white dude.
Yeah,
You're right. Some
Podcast
this
white dude.
YouTuber.
Yeah, some dude who does a
I'm gonna
podcast on
love this
YouTube.
dude. Guess what? Jake Paul looked like a fighter.
But
He
that's
looked
not
like
the
a
first
boxer.
time. It's not the first time that he looked good in a boxing ring, though. Jake Paul did a celebrity match already.
Yeah.
and everyone was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but
you could see that Jake Paul had been
That's what I'm saying.
training.
Yeah, but
no,
he-
like I'm
he
saying
already
with-
looked good doing
Yeah,
it, and then he
yeah,
took
sure,
that,
sure.
trained.
He looked like a fighter
and Nate Robinson
this weekend. though. You know what I mean? Like he's in it.
He
Dope.
got hit with the same punch 4 times. Like, it's really the same. If you watch it, the back of the head thing, every time I'm like, dude, this guy. And then, it's funny, too, because, Nate Robinson wanted to play cornerback, too. Like, a year ago or 2 years ago. He was trying to get a tryout. And
oh, yeah, that's right.
you remember? And don't get me wrong. He is
that.
strong. He can tackle, and the guy can dunk, so that's a 10, that's at least whatever vertical. So I'm like, I could see it, but it's just like, it made me realize, like this idea that I can just jump through sports. Like
Bo Jackson, baby.
Bo Jackson and Dion.
And Dion, yeah.
It doesn't get done.
There are players now that can do it. They were actually talking about it a week ago or so on what's it called, on ESPN, and they were saying why, because some players want to be able to play baseball as well. I think Russell Wilson. He was drafted by, who was he drafted by? I think the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Him and Kyler Murray.
And Mahomes was drafted by the Yankees.
Yeah.
But they're quarterbacks now. Quarterbacks will never be able to play two sports because
the preparation.
It's too much money. They're the highest paid player on the team.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. That says so much.
Bro, Mahomes
You never
is
watch Russell. Next time you watch a Russell Wilson game, just watch how he slides. You will know that's a baseball player. Like, his quarterback slide is like no other quarterback. Like, you're not hitting him. That's why he doesn't take hits. He breaks that pocket.
Yo, that's crazy.
And he slides right into third. Like, he slides. Like, Kyler Murray, too. Another great slider.
You think Russell Wilson is one of the top baseball players if he's playing?
Yes, he's too competitive.
It's possible.
Yeah, he's too competitive.
Like,
right?
Very possible.
Bro, he's too athletic.
But I think
look how good of a quarterback. I'm not to knock
Was it
baseball,
him
but
who was-
I think it's harder to be a top quarterback in the NFL than it is to be a top third baseman in baseball.
Man, I don't know.
Is the training the same?
Just because there's so many more teams, there's so many more games, there's so, like, you know what I mean?
I know, but I feel like the mental.
And that's a good question, too.
Because Michael Jordan's biggest issue was he had to retrain his body in a different way because it was all, he's like, basketball's all upper body or whatever. I forgot exactly what he was saying. But
I think
when he trained to be a baseball
the problem
player,
with Michael
it was different.
Jordan,
And then when he came back,
the problem with Michael Jordan is also hand-eye coordination. Like, his batting average was poor. He did not make contact with the ball. Like, I understand what you're saying. What he said.
I'm not talking about how good of a baseball player
I feel
was.
like the hand-eye coordination necessary for baseball, especially hitting, Jordan didn't have it.
I will say this, just now thinking about it.
Because Deion Sanders didn't have power, but he hit the ball and ran to first base real fast because he was that good.
Going through, thinking back
ball.
to quarterback training and, your daily drills and stuff that you do, like in camps and whatnot.
It's similar to third base.
It's very similar to
throwing because you're
third base and pitching.
Yeah,
just from a quarterback and a pitcher or any sort of baseman. That's very similar because your motion of throwing, and then also thinking about swinging a bat. You know what I mean? Like it's all it's all quarterback. You know what I mean? Like you're so used to this, so that's probably not that bad of a transition.
And it's the same way
basketball to baseball. I can see that being a little different because you're more head up. You know what I mean? Like there's really no side. You know what I mean? Like most of the time in basketball, you're head up, you're head. You know, like head to head.
I feel like there's somebody.
It's like I'm saying that you're never taking a basketball from here. You know what I mean? Like
depends. It's
you know what I'm saying?
Curry,
like it's just the motion.
Yeah, and
the motion is way different.
I can see
in comparison. I would say. You're not going to throw a baseball like this.
No, of course.
Third base
not.
to first
so
base.
Yeah, I guess the training would be similar-ish. I guess.
Yeah, I would say I could see an easier transition for an NFL quarterback to become.
I'd like to see another player play both sports, though. It kind of brings you, but they get paid so much now that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's worth.
Didn't Ben Roethlisberger have to sign that he wasn't going to ride his bike anymore or some shit?
Hell yeah.
Really? I don't know. I'm asking. After he got into that motorcycle accident.
After something like that.
You want to play? You can't run that. You can't
ride this.
Yeah, but I kind of agree with that. You're an investment. Sure. You want the money?
So my point being is they're definitely not going to let especially a quarterback.
No, I agree.
They're never going to let a quarterback play another sport.
As a matter of fact.
Because think about it.
One of the Cowboys' backup, I think.
How good are the Chiefs without Mahomes?
Back in the day, one of the Cowboys' backup was a baseball player too. I just get Drew Hampton or something.
Well, I mean,
he played for Michigan. One of those guys.
You think someone like a Russell Wilson, right? You're gonna retire. Well, Tom Brady's really throwing a fucking wrench in that one, huh? Let's say you're gonna retire out of the NFL sooner, earlier than you would.
Yeah, but
out of baseball, but I guess not anymore.
No, because even baseball players, when they get in their 30s, it's like,
They start slowing down.
to be honest with you,
You're right.
It all depends what team you play for. Like, I give you an example. I hope Drew Brees retires, but if Drew Brees played another year, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, they can do it.
That's what I'm saying. Tom Brady's throwing a wrench in that. Like
I want him out.
It's not that they're throwing a wrench. It's that,
Here's the thing. Brett Favre was just like an anomaly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just old man Midwestern strength right there.
An anomaly was never getting hurt until you played with.
Sure.
No. That's how
you played with the Jets.
I was about to say, that's how you sabotage the Jets. That was just a lie.
But yeah, I guess the same can be said about Tom. Like, how many times has Tom
First
Brady
of all,
really been
the
hurt?
Jets was just an express road to Minnesota.
Well, here's the
Don't
thing,
get me
too,
started
though.
with that shit either.
Here's the thing, too, about Favre. Favre would have missed a game or two if the concussion protocol was in place when he was playing, bro. Because it wasn't. Because think about it. There was that.
I think he would have faked it.
Who was he playing? I think it might have been the Giants when he got a concussion, came back in, threw a touchdown, then left the game, and was like, "Nah, I don't remember throwing that. I don't remember throwing that." Like he didn't remember throwing a bomb, 60-yard touchdown.
That's muscle memory
forgot.
for you. That's something.
They just don't make him like
And
that
then he
anymore.
left the
That's
game.
Wrangler tough right there.
And then he played. Oh hell yeah, that's
By the way,
Wrangler.
Brett
That's
Favre-
Wrangler tough,
Brett
bro.
Favre, 'cause when we did that quarterback ranking way back when, Brett Favre was back-to-back MVP in the league. That's no quarterback's
Never,
ever done
yeah.
that. I'm like, wow, we.
Sure, well, yet Mahomes is
do it.
working
I'm
on
like,
it.
wow, we kind of slided that guy.
working on
Brett
it.
Favre got slided that conversation. I won't even go back to it, but Brett Favre's a lot better than we.
Because the people we picked were
I'm just saying, Brett Favre got slided, bro.
better quarterbacks.
I don't know. I don't know about
Brett
that.
Favre was a great quarterback, but I mean,
I
you
don't
got to
know.
take into consideration he's also got records of bad records as well as good
If you
records.
throw it enough times.
Exactly. But that can go for almost anyone.
I'm just saying, Brett Favre is.
There are people that have thrown enough.
Brett Favre's
You're
a
going to tell
legend.
me,
Brett Favre's a legend, bro.
add up all the years now with Tom Brady and all the games he played, he's definitely thrown more plays.
More interceptions than...
No, he's definitely thrown more
Balls, yeah, I agree.
at this point, and he's still got less interceptions because he don't got the interception record. He's working on it this year, though.
Let's go Bucks.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston's.
That was an interesting game too. Not to continue on all about football right now, but possible.
No.
No?
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen.
No.
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen.
Not unless Brady's like, all right, now let's start going. It looks a little funky.
No,
over
they're gonna
there.
play us, but they're not going to Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay will not be in Super Bowl. They will be in the playoffs. First of
Who's
all,
it going to be?
Super Bowl. I'm looking at.
Seahawks. KC.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that.
There's a good. That would be a great Super Bowl.
That
man.
would be.
I'd be torn if that was a Super Bowl because I would love to see both of them win.
I don't know.
A second.
I
One
also
of them.
think, I also think Green Bay.
I'd be pulling for Russell Wilson on that one.
Depending who Green Bay plays, they may sneak into.
That's what it was. Right. Okay, so
Exactly. They may sneak into the NFC Championship.
where does the NFC Championship go through?
It's gonna go through
It goes through Green Bay?
New Orleans right now, which is the problem. But if Drew Brees doesn't come back,
Yeah.
then Seattle or
Really, home field advantage we're talking about right now?
no, I mean something. 'Cause you
No,
gotta-
I'm saying,
you
like,
gotta
it's-
travel. Just getting up, not being home.
Who's the NFC
Sure.
Championship game? That's what I'm saying. Does it go through Green Bay? If Seattle wants to come back to the
I
Super
would love
Bowl,
Seattle Green Bay though. That would make my day.
that'd be a great NFC Championship game.
And then I would love to see.
I'll tell you what, Green
And
Bay
I'll-
ain't gonna complain.
And I would love to see Tennessee either play Pittsburgh or KC.
KC, yeah.
Green Bay ain't gonna complain if they have to go.
No, they won't.
If they have to go to a dome to play
That's a good point.
in December
Yeah.
or January for this. In that case, what man? What's the matter?
And I got something stuck in my
Well,
throat.
then fucking get it out, bro.
Sorry.
That's the Jesse I toured with for 9 years. Actually, minus the
Oh my gosh.
bro, it's the worst.
And
I'd wake up to that noise. Just
And falling asleep at the wheel.
Don't
falling
smoke
asleep.
cigarettes.
And
Falling asleep at the wheel is an understatement.
I know, that's kind of intense.
Bro, so many nights where I'm just like, I'm exhausted. I'm like, nah, I'll drive. I'm good. Chad wasn't driving because he was too fucked up. Nick wasn't driving because
He was already asleep.
done. Out.
That's hilarious.
Bro, Frank Stark, when he was in the band, that was the best time. He was the only other one that didn't fall asleep at the wheel.
That's a cool name, Frank.
Chad actually didn't really.
No, Chad did not. Chad would just sit there and eat sunflower seeds.
You should have called him.
Listening to music, listening to fucking punk music and pop music, just loud. Next thing you know, he'll start listening to some fucking. He'll start listening to like
Some British pop. Some UK
some
pop.
weird UK pop, and it's just like, bro, what am I listening to right now? And then it'll go from that to some acoustic shit, and then all of a sudden you get some hardcore shit. You're like, I'm like, what?
All right, Chad's ready to go to sleep now. When that came on, and he's
I just put
on the fucking steering wheel.
Bro. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just like, bro. When I drove, I put on a comedian.
Pull over, I'll drive.
Put on a comedian or put on a podcast. Podcast got me through driving.
Yeah.
I feel like I could.
That. JP used to play fucking rock music
Sometimes.
all the time.
Towards the end, I would play. No, yeah, towards the end when I.
All the time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because there would be times where I'd listen to, I think, every Korn song. I was driving
gosh.
every Korn song.
What was it? 10 Years Strong.
And then 10 Years Strong was,
10 Years
was
Strong.
a bad
They came
one.
out with an album, a new
I
album
just
in the middle of
listened
a
to it
tour,
constantly.
and it was every day he was listening to this.
Since we're
and it was
talking
like,
about-
rock music.
Since we're talking
Help
about
me
this
drove.
crazy driving, I gotta tell you guys a fucking story that you guys did to me. You guys, I think, had a show. I don't fucking know where it was. I want to say fucking some casino somewhere.
That wasn't a show. That wasn't that a.
I had to get to the show. I had to drive. I was a passenger in tall Sean's car.
Yeah, that wasn't a show.
Fucking 9-inch nails all the way.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking hours.
That was a Flair bartending
Yeah, I'm
comp.
like, what
Yes.
the
Yeah.
fuck is happening to my life right now? Someone get me out of this fucking car.
Yeah.
Cigarettes and 9-inch nails. Went to shoot myself. Shout out to Sean, but still, shoot myself. I'm like,
cigarettes and 9-inch nails.
I'm like, someone killed
Bro,
me.
I had to-
I'm like, roll down the windows.
It's funny.
Cut the music. Anything. Help. SOS. What the fuck?
It's funny you
SOS.
mentioned that. I just talked about that last night with my wife. How I had to leave the room at like 6 in the morning and go sleep in the car because we were in a smoking room.
Yeah.
And
Was I there too?
Yes.
Yes, I was going crazy there.
That was the show.
He did it in the room too.
it was a Flair bar competition.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
God.
Oh, and he would just smoke cigarettes in
Oh,
the
you
room.
remember they were
Bro,
before they
like
opened their eyes,
chimneys.
fucking reaching for the cigarettes as the fucking alarm's going off.
I was just like, yo, I can't.
He's like,
Oh yeah. See, I was a smoker.
no,
and
at the
nothing's like
time
him.
I smoked too. I still couldn't.
I was gonna say I was
Bro.
a smoker and I couldn't.
Dude.
Right.
It got to a point where I would always get my own hotel room when we went to comps.
Yeah.
Because it was like I can't deal with
Yeah, I can't
the
do it.
constant cigarette smoke.
Bro.
Yeah.
It was nonstop. And he,
Like
like,
just being in a smoking room
Yeah, it's the worst.
yeah,
in
it is.
general.
It's the worst.
It's you wake up, your throat hurts, everything sucks.
Yeah.
Just,
No, it's not for me.
I slept in the car.
None of it's for me.
Yeah. Hey, how was your guys' Thanksgiving?
Good.
Start of that.
I didn't have to cook because I ordered it from a barbecue place. I ordered a smoked turkey.
That's smart. Genius.
Motherfucker.
I got half off. I work for the company.
Nice.
Half off. I got a meal for like 10 people for like $130.
That's smart.
It was wonderful.
And let's clean up.
Yeah, it was all in fucking.
Yeah.
You know what though? I'm not a fan of smoked turkey though.
No, my gosh.
Nah, you know what though? It was good on the day, but like I'm a big turkey
Next day
sandwich
guy.
guy.
Yeah,
Like I couldn't make my
I feel
turkey
you.
soup with that if I wanted to. No way. Wasn't
Which
gonna
was
happen.
delicious. Avery loved it.
Of course she loved it.
You should make
Like a
jerk turkey.
banging turkey soup, bro.
That's the
but
secret. Jerk
you can't
turkey.
make that with smoked turkey. She would have been smoky. It would have been
Yeah,
weird.
it's weird.
Even my turkey sandwiches. I'm big on turkey sandwich, toasted white bread,
mayonnaise.
black pepper.
There you go.
No, now you don't need the pepper.
I put sea
You
salt
could
on it too,
do- I'm trying to think what you would do with smoked turkey. You could make a sandwich out of it. Maybe a
No,
wrap.
I did.
Oh, no,
but
Gene.
it still tastes
It's
smoked.
life changing.
Really?
Like a fresh carved turkey
No,
sandwich.
I know that. I'm telling
Yeah, I'm talking about the smoked
Actually,
flavor.
Yeah, that's weird.
Actually,
It is.
I don't like it.
The chef
And you
at-
like smoked shit.
I do.
The chef at my joint was saying, what did he wanted to do? He wanted to take like pieces of turkey and fry it and make a turkey cutlet sandwich with the cranberry sauce on top. Oh, yeah, I know. I was like, he made it sound so great, and then he didn't make it for me.
Like fry it like
Wait,
Like
after
you
it
would
was
fry
cooked?
a chicken cutlet?
After
Like
it was cooked
bread
or
it?
before it was cooked?
No, like he was
Like raw,
saying,
like cut a piece off
like he
raw.
would take a cut of, like he would say save a piece, like don't cook it all the way, cut it off, and then you fry it like you would fry a chicken
bread
cutlet.
it.
You bread it,
Oh,
and
shit.
then you put the cranberry sauce on it, lettuce, and then you go bananas.
I'm intrigued, man.
I know. I'm
like,
listening
I'm like,
now.
I have to get this done.
Why did I never
I'm gonna
think
go
of
buy a
that?
turkey breast and go cut it up.
No, he said he figured it out because one time he went to like a Ruby Tuesday. They had
Like,
some
do you
shit
do
like
it
that.
the same way though? Do you do it with the cheese and the eggs and
Yeah,
shit?
I would. Why not?
I would do exactly the same way, but
Yeah.
turkey, not chicken.
I made a ridiculous amount of chicken cutlets last night. My grandmother came home.
Is that good?
Grandma went away for Thanksgiving to see Uncle Huge and them down in North Carolina. So we didn't have grandmother's Thanksgiving. So I was like, I love my grandmother. She's literally like my favorite person in the world. So I was like, Ma, why don't you and Grandma come over for dinner?
Get your bottle of Doers.
Yeah, I was like, I'm making chicken cutlets, easy, just, come over. And then I was like, Kenny's been staying at my mom's until his apartment's ready, so tell Kenny to come over too. And I don't know, I just wound up making way too many chicken cutlets. I mean, that's never the thing.
It's the greatest leftovers.
Yeah,
ever.
you can't
I wish you
ever.
would have brought me some.
I should have. I don't know why I didn't.
because you hate me.
I don't like you anymore.
I give him soup. He gives me nothing.
I give you nothing.
No
And I
soup.
made artichokes last night.
No soup.
Stuffed
Yeah,
artichokes. I love
you can
artichokes.
keep 'em.
My mother, she goes, my grandmother first, because I usually call my grandmother for things like this, like, hey, it makes her feel good. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Grandma, I'm making brown beef stew. Like, what do you do? I know how she makes it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, it makes her feel, so what you got to do is you got to brown your meat.
Oh,
later,
Grandma.
So she goes, you didn't call me about your artichokes. And I was like, yeah. I go, I've seen you make them so many times. I had no fucking clue how to make them, but I was like, I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
And my mother looks at me. She takes one and she goes, well, it's
Deborah
funny.
gets jealous
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah, we call her out now. We call her passive aggressive grandma.
I love it.
Right? We go, all right, passive aggressive grandma.
Oh, I love
so
it.
she looks at me and she goes, well, looks like you have to make the artichokes from now on. And it was just
wow.
like a very passive aggressive way of saying, Jess, these are delicious. You know what I mean?
Remember when you were making I think you were making your sauce or some shit the way my mother made it?
Yeah.
And she did the same.
She goes, well. Looks like you like this sauce better, or like, and I was
my
like, yeah, I
God.
go, it doesn't have tomato paste in it. It's incredibly less acidic. It doesn't repeat on me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So now I told her because she came over and she was just like, what do you got in your eggs there? And I go, oh no, first she goes, oh yeah, she goes, what do you got in your eggs? And I go, huh. And then she looks at my breadcrumbs and she goes, well, you don't put cheese in your breadcrumbs? I go, what do you think's in my eggs? And then she goes, oh, is that what's the difference? And I go, it really is, Ma. JP's mother showed me this.
Oh, no. That was it.
She's cool with JP's mother because, JP's mom is off the boat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, this is like a true Italian lady.
Yeah.
She taught me how to make Italian pasta sauce and
my
Italian chicken
gosh.
cutlets.
Well, my
You know
mother's
what I mean?
not super traditional. She likes simplicity.
Yes, but that's what I
But
love
that's
about
what makes
it.
good food.
Yeah,
People
like her
overdo
sauce.
it. They play
Like,
too much
anyone
with
who's-
spices. They play
Bro,
too much.
his
But anyone
mother
puts-
changed my life when it comes to sauce. It's the easiest thing, and I grew up with people. Not that my mom
Onions.
ever did this, but people
Put
around me
onions in
putting
the sauce.
carrots and onions
He doesn't
and
get all of that. I hate
baking
it.
soda and gotta cut the acidity, and it's just like
Sugar to make it sweeter.
sugar,
And you don't
it's
need
like,
to. My
you don't
mother's
need that at all.
I mean, you make
Fucking
this.
bang, blend up some tomatoes. I've done it. I even told your mother last time I saw her. I go, Ma, I was like, so I grew a bunch of San Marzano plums in my garden. Those are the best. And she's like, oh yeah. I go, I blanched them, cored them, skinned them, and I blended them. And she looked at me, like, all right,
Yeah, she's like,
it was.
Because my mother will never do this. She hates because I'm cooking for so long. She's 70s now.
She
She's in her
said, she
70s.
goes,
She's
you
like,
peeled them? And I go, I did. I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
She made raviolis one year from scratch, and she was like,
never again. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's delicious.
not worth it. Pasta's easy if you have the machinery and shit. You just tend it through.
Yeah,
But
I got a pasta maker. I hardly use it.
the men cook in these houses, Gene. The
right.
men cook.
I cook for myself, so I'm not.
Oh, yeah, that's
you
right.
do, yeah, you're good.
That's right. I always
I'm
forget
not-
Gene cooks.
Yeah, I'm not mad.
I will follow him on Instagram if you want to know what he's eating.
Mr. underscore two underscore dash. Yes.
I do want to go away. I think there's a restaurant in the sky in San Domingo. Yo, they lift you up. I want to see if I think it's open. I know everyone do it. Yeah, I love this shit.
He's living his best life.
Yes, he is.
He's living his life.
Before you lock us down.
All right, real quick, because I got to ask you guys this question.
Go
on. I know there was no Thanksgiving talk on the list today, but
that's fine.
I want to know, because now this has happened to a few people that I know, families that I know now. Okay, I'm going to switch it up here.
No.
Get just a little serious. I got a question for you. How many college liberals did not show up to their family's house for Thanksgiving this year?
I don't know. We don't have.
I've read a couple of
family.
No, I've read a couple of stuff like that on Facebook. I mean,
like what? I want to hear this.
Where people didn't come in.
It's
or
gross. In my family, you would get called out, and you would be. It would be. My mother would not keep her mouth shut, and no way in hell.
I
She
just
don't
don't understand why you can't walk into a house, say hi to a bunch of people, eat, and leave. Like I don't
and just keep it cordial, right?
Yeah, just.
But really, you're gonna hate your family because they don't agree with you? Like really?
But not
I don't
even
agree
that.
with shit my brother thinks
But not
or my
even that, but
mother thinks.
Why is a conversation necessary that day?
It's not.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Like you could talk about.
Why do you have to feel so triggered that there's someone in the room with you that may or may not
But I will say
think
this.
the same way
I will
as you,
say this.
that it's going to spiral you where you're going to have to exclude yourself from family functions.
I will say this, and I'm not one of those blame the media for everything guys, but the polarization of politics is at a point where it's cult-like, and I understand why people have cult-like behaviors.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's fair or right, but like
No, you're right.
when people say certain things to
Can't
me,
argue.
I'm like, what? Like,
ride or die for the party, man.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah. I was even. It's just crazy. Like, because I was reading. What was I reading? I was reading. There were two new Republican senators, female, and it was a weird article because they interviewed her and she said, "Yeah, the Republican Party has to embrace more women." And more minorities, which all sounds right, but
Didn't Trump hire like the most women from any president into his
You
cabinet?
can't go by that anyway. Trump hires, fires.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
So,
Probably, maybe. I don't know because
I
no
read
one covers
something
that
like
shit. And
I don't know,
don't
but
talk
my
about
whole
that.
point is,
we hate him too much.
my point is, she was not saying to do it for the right reasons. She was saying it as a strategy moving forward.
right,
for
kind of like the
Republican
extension
Party.
of the Rooney Rule. Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hey, listen, it got Matt fired. Sorry, Matt. I mean, I kind of like
Really?
that.
He was
You
terrible.
think
What is
that
that?
rule got him fired? No, his poor performance got
Losing to
his
two
ass
teams that
fired.
were 3 and 7 in a row.
Yeah.
I think.
And not only losing.
I don't think that rule got him
blown
fined,
out.
but I think that the scrutiny on certain coaches is about to go up. Because,
Oh, that's good.
Because you
Then
have to understand.
if that's the case, then
you have to
then I'll
understand-
support
amen.
that.
You have to understand.
Yeah.
That's how people look at it. Like, I look at a guy like him and I'm like, why does he get a pass? I'm not mad that he's struggling. I even said, okay, Anthony Lynn, who's the coach of the Chargers, I'm like, if he got fired, I wouldn't be shocked. And people are like, was it you that said it? Like, wasn't he like coach of the year or something?
No, it wasn't me.
Oh, someone was like,
Oh, fuck
because
that
I
is.
told someone, I had a conversation with someone else. They're like, no. They're like, 2 years ago, he had a good season. I'm like, Jack Del Rio with David Carr had a 12-4 season and was fired the next year when they had a bad season.
Oh, man.
It happens. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, you know, like you have to. My whole thing is, I don't think it's out of bounds to say that you should be at least 500 as a coach. Like to me, like how did it become that bad?
So want to explain Adam Gase then?
If you're not
No, he should be
500, we're
fired.
having a sit down.
You know what?
We're
Explain
having a
Adam
real
Gase
conversation.
to me. I'll take. You know what's gonna be great? We're gonna hire Matt Patricia.
Adam Gase is
The Jets
oh
are
my
gonna
gosh.
hire Matt Patricia.
I would
Watch,
lose my mind.
bro. Watch. They're gonna be like,
I
well,
would
you know, he did
lose
really
my
good
mind.
Yeah, right?
against
First of all,
us. I don't know something.
Adam Gase is basically the Jets. The fix is in, so the Jets don't want to tell us that we're tanking. So what we do is we pretend that he's not that bad, but they're gonna fire him when it's time. So they just let
Do
him.
you remember what they said when they hired Adam Gase? We watched this guy play us twice a year, and he did a great job against us, so we're hiring.
No, they hired him
It's
because
like your team sucked. Of course, he did well against
they
you.
hired him
Right, right.
because
You can't say that.
He beat the Patriots twice in his career as a Yeah, but you know how people are. The Patriots like the Super Bowl. We beat the Patriots. So,
Right? We beat them in the regular season.
So,
Week 11 when they were like,
I remember.
we're going to win anyway. Fuck it.
One of the busiest days in Miller's ever was fucking Brett Favre on a Thursday night, and I'm like, fuck my life. First time I said it, I was like, this sucks. Like, I was like, I didn't even put my head up. All we did was make drinks.
That's it. No pitches.
I can't even tell you what the score was. I can say, what
happened? Okay,
that's it. Like,
bro, when the Jets made the play, you couldn't. There was no TV watching.
Yeah, you couldn't move.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous.
The days when you can be shoulder to shoulder with people and drunk as fuck.
Yeah, and 3-4 deep
pre-COVID.
Yeah,
never gonna happen.
Getting 47-cent tips.
So I brought this up because this is something I've brought up on the podcast before, right? I brought up the whole college liberal thing because I have heard from a few people, like a few different families.
It's funny because of this guy. The other day, it's so funny. I caught myself like I was reading. Like actually, this is exactly what I googled. I googled why people don't like liberals, and then I googled why people don't like conservatives, and I literally don't.
Interesting.
No, because I'm really trying to understand. So I'm gonna let you go back, but it was just it's an interesting perspective. So go ahead. This is a good conversation.
The thing that you know, not just because like my own personal things with this, but you know what made me really be like, all right, what the fuck is going on here? And like I said, I brought this up a few weeks ago with like the education, right? So I know of 3 in particular, 2 of whom go to the same college, who their professors are the ones who said it's okay to not go to your families over the holidays.
Memes of that shit, bro.
It will make you. This is a way to make a stand into what you believe in, and if you want to, basically like if you don't like the, your racist family because they don't agree with you, don't go because that'll change their ways. And it's like, this is what is being taught.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they've been memes like that all for a while now, though.
Okay. What do you mean?
Saying it's okay to disagree with your family. It's okay to not talk to your brother and call them out or whatever because they have different views or whatever.
It is not okay.
And in some cases, listen, if your
it's
family's
okay to have a conversation, yeah.
If your family's super racist or whatever, I mean, I don't know. My family's not like down with all the black people and Mexicans. They're not like that. They're just, I don't know, right. I grew up in a very...
Oh, they're normal people in society? Okay.
Yeah, but they're from Long Island. My family's going to have a more of a Republican view on things. Also, when they see rebellion and shit like that and people going against the norm, they're not used to it. They're older. They're
like
all
that.
older.
Yeah.
They're not going to be like, let's do it. It's not normal for someone who's known their way of life
How
for
long is
50 years and all of a sudden be like, okay.
Well, how long has your family been in the States? Your mom and father?
Since the 60s.
Since the 60s. So they lived in
60,
Italy.
60, yes.
They were in Italy throughout World War II.
Yes.
Or
my father was born right, I think, as World War II ended. Yeah.
Okay. So they would. Okay. Well, maybe he was still, I guess, a little young.
His family was poor. They were in the freaking mountains of Italy. They didn't know anything about anything.
I was trying to, see if that was the crossover there. But yeah, I guess now he was probably still a little too young for post World War II Italy.
My father's not your typical preacher. He has some democratic views.
Sure.
A lot.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I grew up in a house where it didn't we moved to Florida. I got just bombarded with culture.
Sure.
I went
Especially
from
Florida.
One black kid in my school to half the school was black, Puerto Rican, Cuban, everything mixed. So I got this. Then all of a sudden, my best friend was Mexican, and then I had another best friend. He was black. And my parents didn't care. I mean, my mother's best friend in Florida was they were very big on
diversity
and not. Don't judge someone. My father, I think one of their best friends, my mother's cousin's gay. They don't judge her, and she's actually super religious and super. It's very funny with like that. It's almost like the way your brother, was or whatever, but is super religious but gay, and may even have some religious view towards. It's very awkward, but and funny in some senses too.
Sure,
but there was never any judgment. Ever.
No, nor should they be.
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
But this is what the undertone of a lot of the conversations that I always have with you guys is that diversity. See, that's the crisis. That is the crisis of America.
Long Island?
No, not Long Island. That's the crisis of the United States as a whole, because there are too many pockets that don't have enough diversity.
Agreed.
That have
I was in one of them.
opinions that are so strong. And then what happens is,
because they don't see anything.
Other places like Long Island, they understand where those people are coming from, but they don't squash them. And I remember one time you're like,
they're not in it.
You're like, you mentioned like when people go, silence is violence. I'm like, it's not that silence is violence. It's that Long Island has a phenomenal perspective of it, because here you are, you're in New York. You're gonna be blue for the rest of your life, even though you have
very red state.
You're in a red state with red thought process. But it's something that you live with, you get frustrated with. Those real red states don't even deal with that type of level of compromise or working around the system. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? And they don't have the ability to have certain like, for example.
Well, it doesn't work here either, though. This is why upstate New York always tries to break away and become like their own.
No, but that's why I said Long Island. I put upstate where it is. I think that Long Island has their ways.
It's
and
also
their
New York
quirks.
is also the most moved out of state right now.
Which
I think California's beating it by a little.
Nope.
No,
New York has taken that over and then some.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, New York. Let me tell you something. New York, this trend was going to happen for a long time anyway, because New York was for a long time, this is before politics too, the whole concept of if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. People were challenging that at least 10 years ago. I know people that, I know how many black folks that moved to Atlanta. You know what it was? It was like, yo, I'm tired of getting by. And then they go to Atlanta, they have big houses, big this. And I heard that story over. Then it started happening in North Carolina.
Yep.
They're not, people are doing it in Florida.
Carolina's
People
filled
are
with
doing
New
it in
Yorkers.
Texas. And I'm like, really? I'm like, it is us. And now you throw the gasoline on the fire with all this extra politics, and then it's just like, now it's a mass exodus. But listen, before I lose this, because I read this and I was like, fucking Jesse, because so Megyn Kelly pulled her kids out of a school, and that's why I'm like, okay, maybe there is something to what Jesse's talking about.
The news anchor.
The old Fox News anchor.
I was like, maybe there's something to what Jesse's saying. So I'm just reading little clips and then we're going to get back. She goes, she acknowledges that the school has far left ideology, doesn't jibe with her own, but she never really cared. She goes, after years of resisting, we're going to leave the city. The schools have always been far left, which doesn't matter, blah, blah. But listen, this is where it got really bad. And I'm like, yo, this is really happening?
Mm-hmm. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm like, there is a killer cop sitting in every school where white children learn. They're gleefully soaked in their whitewash history that downplays the Holocaust of indigenous native peoples and Africans in the Americas. They happily believe all their white spaces exist as a matter of personal effort and willingly use violence against black bodies to keep those spaces white. So this is something that was written in a letter that went around the school, and that's when she had enough, and she's like, I'm pulling my kids. Yep. And I was like, yo, this is the shit Jesse be talking about, because I'm like, someone put that in a letter? Like, that's insane.
Yeah, just that flat out say there's a cop killer and everything.
I know,
like you're gross.
Well, not only that, it's the rest of that is even more hard.
Yeah, the
it's saying that
white spaces.
White people are using violence to keep their spaces white. Where? What does that even mean?
No, that is
maybe a town or two in the middle of the country. But,
that would be national news. Like, what do you mean?
That's an extreme.
You know what I mean? No, we're not saying they're not doing it overtly.
You got to follow the whole thing. It's an extreme perversion of.
It's an overcorrection. It's like what you always say.
It's an exaggeration.
It's an exaggeration of because if you follow the cop killer thing, it's obviously from the police brutality. They're trying to make a lot of correlations and make it connect, which is crazy because, and this is why I always say something. This is why when something goes wrong, they need to isolate the problem, attack it, solve it, and press on. This is just like the George Floyd thing, just like this. Because what happens is, with all these open cases everywhere, then it becomes where people walk around and talk like that. You know what I mean? Like,
it's also professors get paid dick now.
So you think they're rebelling by fucking poisoning the children?
No, and just in case you might get
that's not that bad. It's like a service saying, fuck that table.
You might get a bitter ass motherfucker who's like, fuck
you know
everyone.
what? Just hearing that, like what JP is saying there, like, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that professors get paid dick. Like, I know a few personally, like in my family, professors that fucking are well off, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But I could also see
Recently, it's been a problem with some schools.
like a lobbyist firm coming in and paying some professors. Like, hey, I know that you guys are feeling underprivileged right now, Harvard and Yale professors. We're gonna fatten your bank accounts.
I mean, I think that would get out at some point.
I think it is. I think it's starting. I'm not saying.
I mean, like straight up get out. Like, I think, you know.
Right.
I think
it's.
You know
what
I think it is.
It's unnerving to hear to know this.
I'll tell you what I think it is, and I realize this because I used to call it out during the Obama years, like when Obama first got elected, especially going from George Bush to Obama. So when George Bush was the president, we all made fun and we mocked him because he had a C average, remember? And he wasn't. He wasn't like that academic kid.
Right.
Then you bring in Obama, and there was a lot of frustration with, you know, the talking to the people, blah blah. You know, he went to Harvard, blah blah. And then remember, Donald Trump gave you the "I'm gonna just talk straight to you." And I think that America, for the last 10 to 20 years, has been going through some. I don't know what to call it. It's like a intellectual frustration. It's
pendulum.
It's what's happening is
Swing one way, swing the other way.
Yeah, but the thing is this:
Then it goes
people
further
who
the
are
other way.
smart, being smart is cool. Making people feel dumb
It's not.
is gonna come back to you. Like walking around thinking that you're smarter people is one thing. Being smart and educating people and saying, yo, you know what, the way you're looking at it is okay, but here's the other stuff you don't see.
See, I didn't
is one
realize-
thing. Being smart and say you're an idiot because how do you not see this? You're a fucking moron.
And Obama
Makes me
does
go-
that, by the way.
Makes me say, okay, so I'm a fucking moron? Okay, and now that's how echo chambers are built. Because you call me a moron, you call him a moron, you call him a moron. So us three morons get together and be like,
Fuck you.
Maybe he's the moron. Because who gives a fuck about his Harvard degrees? And then because going to school we were all taught, okay, you get this degree, it gets you more money, blah, blah. But guess what? The newfound technical revolution of the Zuckerbergs and the fuck school, I can make an app. The millionaire artists, the millionaire ball players have made it like, do I really need a degree? Like, can I not figure this out?
Elon Musk said you don't need one, so it don't matter.
And that's the point. So now what's happening is like, fuck you and you're being smarter than me because I can out-earn you. I can live a better life.
Well, it's funny.
So you can't disrespect me.
To enter,
and just goes back to the professors.
The standards to enter secondary education is like not there anymore. Think everyone can go to college.
Providing you can afford it or take a loan.
Providing that you can afford it.
And in New York, it's free if you stay in the state for 5 years, right? Some shit.
Like
community college, or whatever.
Yeah,
state college,
something like that. Yeah.
But it's funny you said that about Obama because Obama was on that new David Letterman show that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
He did an interview with him, and one of the things he was saying was people who watch Fox News are on a different planet, and it's like, I get it. I see what you're saying, but the way he said it was very arrogant, very like, fuck me.
Well, that's why I always say that.
It's like
I used
really
to
because the
argue-
people who are watching CNN aren't on a different planet as well.
I used to argue Phil with this point all the time. I don't understand. Like, what do you mean? Like, Obama. Yes, Obama hit a wall in his first 4 years, right? Because he wasn't able to do any of the things. It was a constant battle. Constant battle, right?
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell.
I'm sure
the wall has a name. Big head.
But I watched it. Like with my own eyes here. Like, Obama is the person who started this divide. Because of exactly what JP just said there is, oh, well, if you watch Fox News, then you're just not in touch with reality. And it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, but
because there's a different.
Okay, here's the thing.
There's a different thought process than your progressive thought process. Not saying that this conservative thought process is the way, but
no,
that is what started that.
I think
division.
I don't think it's him, but I think
Bush might have.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think you touched it. I think
How?
I think the Fox.
I don't remember Bush coming out against any news network.
No, not necessarily.
I think the Fox.
I see
No,
what
but
you're
he's saying that now. Obama didn't say that then. But I will tell you this: the Fox, CNN, what they've done to this country is something that someone needs to look into.
Fuck yeah,
because
I agree.
I think that their polarization of what they did is, and this is what people don't understand. This is why it frustrates me. Fox Network and so CNN, it's a business. Their job is to bring more viewers to the channel.
That's it.
So when they speak, they're trying to it's like a movie. They're acting out a part to get more people to watch the movie.
Yes, of course.
And the problem is that people
This brings me back to something.
People sit there and you do not have to discredit the other to believe in one. But here's the issue.
Right. Yes.
You should be able though. Like for example, I watch both. And what kills me is that most people don't do that, and most people can't see the lies in both. Like I can watch both and be like, he's a little going too far, blah blah blah. I get it. But it's great theater. Like one of the reasons I like Tucker Carlson is because his journalistic style, interview-wise, he sets people up to say what he wants them to say, but they're not that quick to see what he's doing. Like he leads them up, and he looks quiet. He has that look like
leading questions.
Yeah,
he does like that. Yeah,
and he looks quiet.
Cuomo does that too.
No, Cuomo tells you what to say.
Chris Cuomo,
he just says it in a better way.
Right, he kind of bullies you into it. Right.
But it's the same thing. It's a different style. Yeah. So my whole point in saying that is that people have to understand it. And Van Jones, which is a guy that drove me crazy, because I remember when Trump won 16, he was crying on television, and I remember saying, like, this is insane. Like, you're a journalist. You can't cry on TV. It's not that serious.
That got him points.
It's not that personal.
Yeah,
and this is what these college liberals need to understand. It's not that fucking personal.
But what happens is when you see someone crying on television,
it makes it that personal.
Yes.
Like, I'm personally offended.
You're like, if he's crying, that means I'm missing something.
Right.
That means it's much worse than I
exactly.
think.
Yeah.
And it's just. But the other ones do it too. Like, I'll give you a good example. If there's an example that explains how the media has lied to people for the last 10 years, it's guns.
Sure.
More guns were sold under Obama than any other president because
not anymore.
Hold on. No, it's not. No, that's my point.
Oh, okay.
To the time, up to that point.
Until COVID.
Because that's my point. Up to that point.
Okay. Sorry.
So then it was Obama's going to take your guns. Obama never once mentioned that. Yeah. It was a great marketing scheme. Conservative radio was able to run with it.
Using it again now. So
that's my point.
It was supporters of Obama that started running on those. Obama was never that progressive.
Obama's a centrist. I've said it from he's a centrist.
He's a little bit more progressive than a centrist, but
he leaned one way more, but a centrist nonetheless.
That's fine. But what it did was it opened up that avenue for the Betos to come out and be like, no, I'm going to take your guns because me as a young politician was raised in the lie. And I believe that America will be safer with no guns
I'm gonna tell you right now,
at all.
I don't know much, but I can tell you right now,
opened up that avenue.
There will never be a day where American citizens don't have guns. It'll never happen.
No, because you would have to come and take them.
It's never going to happen, period.
Right.
No one's ever going to do it.
Come and take my gun. Listen, try it.
There's a reason why it's a Second Amendment. It wasn't like 13th or 19th. Like it was number 2. Like I can say whatever I want.
You can say what you want.
I got a gun.
You can can assemble with like-minded people and say the same things.
Just think about that.
And y'all can have guns while you do that.
Yeah, just think about it. Like the forefathers were like, all right, what's really important? Saying what I want to say, being strapped. Like they understood. So
here's the funny thing.
Go away.
Here's the funny thing about the whole news thing. So I was listening to the Schultz podcast last week, and he wasn't on. It was these two guys. I forgot what their names are, and they do like a history hyenas. They're called. Okay. And they do like they're just foul mouth. Like they're that
hyenas. I like that.
But they're like these. I think they're two comedians. I'm not sure. One's name was something Stefano, and another
Chris Stefano.
Yanni.
Yeah.
Yes, and then Yanni something. Comedian. I think his name is.
I know the Yanni one.
Giannis.
Yes.
Yeah, he's another. They're both comedians.
Yes, they're both comedians.
Okay.
I didn't know they had a show together.
It's called History Hyenas.
Oh, that's dope.
But they filled in for, and bro, it was they're like a mile a minute, man. These guys, oh god. But one of them worked for one of the news organizations, and he had a show, and he said basically their motto is pick a fight.
Because that brings ratings.
So think about that. Think about that. Now take what you just said.
There you go.
And what are they doing?
Picking fights.
Pick a fight.
They do
We should switch our whole format here to that.
Pick a fight?
Pick a fight.
Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. 10-minute clips, pick a fight. Go.
Listen.
But that's also the prove me wrong. What's his name? That did always do that. When he sits at the desk and he's got the sign.
Oh, yeah. Steven Crowder guy.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
He says, prove me wrong.
He has a
change my mind. That's what it is.
change my mind.
Yeah.
He has a desk and he'll go to some college and he'll put the most
rape culture is not real. Change my mind.
Or not. Well, has he done that one?
I want to say it was something like that.
No, there was one about assault and how words can't be used as an
Words
assault.
are not violence.
Or
change my mind. Something
change
like that.
my mind, and then I'll have these super. And he's in the middle of like next level. This is why also bro, watch that show, and he's in the middle of these campuses, and watch the anger in people's just demeanor around him. The people who sit down and are ready to fight him, and he's just talking.
He's another one though.
And you know something about
He gets a little, but no. Sometimes he makes good points in that sense. Yeah, sometimes he's part of the team.
Right, like there's a lot that Steven Crowder. Like I would love to see that completely unedited. I'm not sure if it is. Like I watched one of them.
I don't know.
It was like him and some lady. I want to say they were like on a boat. It was just the two of them on this little dinghy, and it was like there's only two genders. Changed my mind. That's what it was.
Right.
Ooh.
And that one, it was long. I remember it was long, but I felt like it was cut up a lot.
It's possible. That
I
makes
would love
sense
to
for
see
him.
just I want to see an unedited, just as
And you know what it is too?
Touche.
which.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, because I would say the college campuses. Here's another thing you have with the college campuses. You have a lot of floating ideas. You have a lot of kids with uncertain futures.
Yeah, of course.
And a lot of debt being accumulated.
Something's
going to
happen. Either
so it's a powder keg.
The thing that I don't like,
keg ready to explode, and all you have to do is inject.
Sneeze
and I'll
instead
tell you
of
this,
the thing that I don't like, before we venture too far off this, the thing that I don't like about that all is, and this is not me trying to push an agenda one way or the other, but the fact that there are college conservatives that feel like they cannot speak or gather or assemble because they get shunned, and or even their professors will shun them. So it's like I have to keep my conservative views or arguments in the classroom at bay because I want to pass this class.
But here's my thing. Okay.
Like that's fucked.
I know, I agree with you, but I want to say a couple things about this thing too. And this is where, okay, conservative as far as fiscally or even social conservative is, to me, is one thing. But the idea of, I think there's some conservatives that do take it too far. Like the idea that everything is okay and nothing needs to change.
Of course.
I don't agree with that.
Of course.
I think that
it goes both ways.
I know.
It has to.
I think that everything
And that's
is
the problem.
I think the fact that everything is wrong and America's all fucked up and everything needs to change is also wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that people have to really wake up with if you are on any side of the extreme, you need a reality check.
Right.
Because if you think everything is okay, then what I say to people like that is that means if you lived in the 1600s, you would have thought slavery was okay, women shouldn't vote, blah, blah, because technically you were conservative then and it was some liberal that drove you crazy. And now, you know what I mean? But if you're a liberal and you think, oh my God, everything has to change, the first thing you need to realize is you can only even have that opinion because the country is the way it is.
Right.
That's the very first thing you need to understand. Like, your opinion does not exist any other country in the world. The idea that you can even think that something is wrong with your government or how things run is a luxury that America affords you.
Well, I think that's another
and I
misconception
think,
there. Just because of what you just
Canada,
said, like conservatives, no, they're not. They're not okay with women not voting and slavery
I'm
and all
saying
that.
at the time. At the time,
even at the time, they weren't. In fact, that's where you get your whole Dixiecrats, right? It was the Democratic Party that was for slavery. They're the ones who owned the plantations. It was the Northern Republicans that freed the slaves and wanted less government. And now that's where the transfer is. And that's why it's like you can't even really go into history, back to history, when you're talking parties. Because I disagree with the swapping, too.
It didn't even swap, actually.
It's more than a swap.
It's not even that it's swapped, though.
No,
that's why you can't dig back into history for that one, because it's not
just a swap.
At the current stage, this is what matters, right? So it's conservatism in the current climate.
I agree.
Is less government interference in our lives. The progressive in today's current climate is more government control because the government fixes the problems.
Fair enough, but here's the thing.
And then you have me who's somewhere north of all of this, like,
not even in the middle.
Y'all are all crazy.
Well,
the government creates the problems so they can fix them.
And I'm always, because I'm always on the right side too, and I look and I say to myself, okay, I don't believe the government does a good job. But I do believe we need one, you know.
Of course,
I think that
it's called up north.
but this is why, like, for example, the third party vote. This is why I've always been for it, because, like I tell people, the reason why you should vote third party is because if you dream of a country where your grandchildren have more options, it starts with more political options. Because we believe in options in everything except...
Does it, or does it start with more freedoms?
No, because freedom is an illusion. And I'm gonna tell you,
it is not.
It is.
It is not.
Whatever freedoms you think you enjoy is an illusion.
I disagree.
Pick one. Pick a freedom.
What do you mean?
Pick a freedom. Pick a freedom that you think is all amazing.
Of speech.
Okay, freedom of speech. We are now in a climate where you can be fired by saying the wrong thing on social media. Do you really have freedom of speech? You can be canceled.
Freedom in the sense of
agree,
freedom in the sense of you don't go to jail.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. There's no such thing like freedom is a great concept. But
both agreeing, but in a different way.
Yeah, because
it's very weird
not
right
real.
now. This is weird.
No, because these freedoms.
He's saying it's a problem. It's not.
That is a problem with what he's saying. I'm saying
it's not real. None of it's real. A freedom is something that is given to you. It's like you telling your kids to go play, and at that moment they're excited. They think they run, and then you're like, "Get back here!" Like, holy shit, what just happened here? It's over. Bam, just like that. Boom. Like people. Get up.
You know what? You're right. You're right. You're 100% right now. Because now that I'm thinking,
you're agreeing, but in a different way.
It's like you're right.
It's very weird. I just saw that.
I couldn't even purchase my house the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
Right.
And now that I own my house, I still have to pay the government.
Yes.
Each year for my house that I maintain, and if I don't maintain up to their standards, they can take.
Right.
You see my point? But
if I want to sell my chicken eggs to my neighbor, I
God
can't.
forbid.
No way.
Yeah. But you can raise the chickens.
You know what?
And you can have the eggs.
You're right. You're right. We don't have fucking freedom.
No, we don't.
And I've said this. You're right.
We've never had. We've never.
You're right.
The problem, but the thing is,
we're not free.
We fall in love. We fall in love with the concept, and we create the concept in our heads. I'll give you an example. When people say, "I own a house," I hear that all the time. I own a house. I'm like, and then everyone claps. Someone posts, "I just bought a new house." What do we all do? 50,000 likes. Boom, boom, boom. It's fucking phenomenal. But I also look at it like, yo, does this person make enough money? Do they understand a 30-year mortgage? Like, you're a 30-year debtor now. That's how I look at it. But I'm not saying don't get houses. Obviously, you pass it down to your children.
Yeah, there's two ways of looking at it.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's my point.
Right now, we have equity in this house.
Yeah, but my point is, whatever you think is a freedom is not what you think. The freedom comes at a cost, and it's compromised.
The people have freedom.
You talk about freedom of speech. We know now that our phone calls are recorded. Yo, today I got in the car.
I wrote it in.
I got in the car. It goes. The phone goes. X amount of minutes to your house.
Yeah, that's not the company doing it. That's your phone doing it because
it only does it
in
today.
the phone. Yes, because every Monday, where do you go? It's a very simple conclusion.
You're not bothered with this.
No.
Bro, I am.
No,
He's not.
He's not.
I am
fucking bothered.
Because
First of all,
because it's the machines learning your patterns.
Exactly. Because yesterday it told me 3 minutes to my job because I live 3 minutes down the road. It knew that I go there on Sunday and knows I come in on Monday. And my point, but guess what?
But it's also
is that
not
freedom.
It's also not. No,
you could shut your phone off.
Yeah, you could turn that all off.
That's not something different.
I wrote this in a line in a song that's going to be released soon, and I was asked to write an anti-government verse, right, for this, and it says in there, basically, we don't have freedoms, we have privileges.
There you go. That's more like it.
And you're 100% right.
Yeah.
With what you were just saying there, like we get governmental privileges allotted to us, masked as freedom.
It's just like guns. Half the state half the states you can carry legally, half the states you can't. That's nonsense. This is what I've always told you. It's nonsense.
Right, like I'm still on a waiting list to get my concealed carry in New York.
That's nonsense.
I'll be on this list forever.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
for a long time.
Yeah, it's nonsense. Just
Concealed carry in New York is
it's nonsense.
a lot of hoops there.
It's just like drugs. It's nonsense. Like, like some places are having a field day. Some people are still trying to figure out. It's the same thing with the lockdowns in the States. Like, yes, we have freedoms. Yes, we have more freedoms than many countries in the world. But you got to be careful with that because sometimes you're given a freedom just to shut the fuck up. It's just like, what did they do in New York?
Or they take away a freedom just to shut other people
exactly.
the fuck up.
It's like New York, everyone's wilding the fuck out. Let them go to restaurants. Let them go eat. Like, fuck it. Just open up the restaurants. And you wear a mask.
No, they're shutting that down again too. So.
Maybe. But I told you that was going to happen because Thanksgiving. And they already set
My
it up.
boss wants it to happen to get it over with. Like,
Yeah, me
he doesn't
too.
want it to happen, but he's like, just get the fuck over with.
I'm at
right
that point
now,
too. Yeah, I'm like, yo,
Well,
just
no,
shut everything down, please. Let's.
Because what's happening is this. Now people are
not coming.
They're not
nervous.
going out
They're
because
nervous.
they're scared because of
Yeah.
the media.
Yep.
So now we're open, just
Turn off the
dragging
media.
along.
Turn off the news.
dragging
I
along.
know. I saw a hoodie. It says defund the media. I wanted to buy it.
All right, I want to talk about something. You done with your thing? Do you remember what you were talking about?
No, that was pretty much it.
I just want to make my point just heard here. If there is any young college age
Liberals.
lefty
Stop
liberals,
calling them the lefty liberals. You got to
hate
talk to them
saying-
directly.
Not saying lefty.
Because I'm going to tell you now.
Because you're doing the same thing that they're doing to piss you off or to piss off
Once you label
conservatives.
them, you shut them down. Like, if you call someone a liberal,
Okay,
you're
listen.
basically saying, I don't like your views. That's
there is
basically what they're hearing.
Yes, and I'm saying that.
I know.
because
I mean, I hear
don't-
you.
I'm talking
Can't
to
completely disagree with him.
I'm talking to a specific group of kids.
Okay,
and I
but
say
take out-
kids because they act like children.
Okay, I'm following
talking
you.
to a specific group of kids.
I'm
It
following
is
you.
not okay to be disrespectful because of politics that y'all don't even understand yet.
I agree. That's fair enough, too.
Just because your gender studies professor tells you that it's okay to tell your grandma to fuck off because she was raised in a different generation than you, no, I'll punch you in the fucking mouth.
You don't talk to Nana
That's
about
it.
like that. You do not talk to Nana like that. All right, I want to talk about something else.
Go ahead.
Chappelle. You see what happened with Chappelle?
I'm very
I don't
conflicted.
understand it.
I'm very conflicted.
But you
I
see
don't understand. Why is he
Okay, what happened?
stripping it from Netflix?
He didn't strip it. He asked them politely to take it down because
Why?
because
he's not
Comedy
getting paid.
Central's not giving him money for it.
He signed. Okay,
But
here's my issue with this, and I'm conflicted. I love
I am
Dave,
too.
I
What's
love
his
Dave
contract say?
that's the thing.
Yeah, I love Dave Chappelle, greatest comedian ever. He's also a multimillionaire. He signed a contract early in his career.
Right.
That contract that he signed early in his career,
He walked out on.
okay, and it also allowed him to become who he is today.
Correct.
The Comedy Central contract, the Dave Chappelle show itself, did a lot to further his brand to the megastar that he is now.
Correct.
So now,
Leaving is what made him a martyr of some sort.
he built his brand on the back of that channel, Comedy Channel.
And technically on the back of fucking them over, if
Yes,
you really
and-
want to look at it as a business
And the 50
standpoint.
million. So to me, like the moment I saw that, I thought back to Jadakiss, the Locks, were at Hot 97 one day, and they flipped the fuck out. You gotta YouTube it, you'll die. Like they're like, yo, we're not rapping anymore. We're not making any more fucking music. Fuck this, fuck that. Money, Power, Respect was over 10 years ago. Fucking Diddy still owns the rights.
Yeah.
And Jadakiss even went so far to say, if Diddy was walking down and he was on a roof and there was a piano, he would just. So Diddy calls the station, and Diddy goes, "Really, guys? Like, you know where the office is at? What the fuck is all this? What the fuck is all this? Like, what
love
the fuck? Yeah, what the fuck? Yo, he was really tough. I'm like, he must have extra security today because he was really tough. He was reckless.
Nah, yo, that fucking
But-
makes me respect him
He's like,
so much
he goes,
more.
He goes, you know where the office is at?
Be
Yeah.
wilding out online, on fucking on the air for.
Yeah.
Settle down, come up here, talk to me like a man.
Because what happened is the Locks wanted, and I love the Locks, but they wanted an emotional connection from their fans for us to understand a financial mistake they made early in their career. And that's what Dave is asking me to
agree.
do. Like,
I
you're
agree.
asking me to dig deep and feel bad for a multi-millionaire who signed a bad piece of paper 10 years ago.
He's doing-
20 years
he's
ago.
doing-
Like, you're doing fine, bro. I get it. seeing your TV show played and you're not getting paid, I get how that twinges you. But like, you built menus for restaurants with drinks that are still in circulation, and you're not going to get paid for it.
Ever.
I've consulted with places.
Oh, yeah, I've already...
Where I've given them ideas.
I'll tell you guys a funny story.
Yeah, I've
about that.
consulted with places where I've given them ideas based on the contract that I signed. I'm no longer part of that organization.
Right.
And they are making millions off of my personal idea that I was paid for at the time to do. You know what I don't do now? I don't do that anymore.
Right.
There's no deal that doesn't involve royalties, and that concept of future money is something that we understand now. Now, Dave Chappelle would never sign a contract. Young Dave Chappelle, who just wanted to get into the game and make money,
would sign that contract 100 times.
Last thing, and I'm gonna let you go. Magic Johnson walks out of college, goes to the NBA. A young upstart company, Nike, comes to him and is like, listen, we're going to give you stock option as part of it. Converse goes, yo, we'll cut you a check right now. The rest is history. Magic Johnson would be, he's already a billionaire, but
no offense to Nike,
multi-billionaire. And he says all the time, every time he walks by a Nike store, he wants to throw up. Because he didn't understand the concept of future. Like, so so to wrap it all up, my point is,
Mike wanted to do
if you don't know, if you don't know something, don't sign it. It's just like the cops. The cops.
But he wasn't ignorant,
now,
really. It wasn't even that.
I didn't say he's ignorant. I'm just saying
the deal wasn't bad. Realistically,
it was a great deal.
He was getting $50 million from a network that notoriously underpaid people.
It was a great. That's what I'm saying.
This is the thing I don't understand.
Every good deal becomes a bad deal later on. That's my point.
When does $50 million become a bad deal, though?
Now.
Sure, but
right now,
what if he would that be the deal now if he would have actually stayed and did those seasons?
No, he'd get more money. He'd be worth more.
Or eventually he would have been like, no, I want the rights. I want half the rights. Or I want something paid.
Or he could open Chappelle Television.
It would have got syndicated already.
Yeah, he literally could have his own channel where he has different comedians come. But that's my point. So when people make the choices and it
was a bad choice, not necessarily a bad deal.
They hold us as fans accountable.
Just saying.
For supporting. Like, it's not my fault. First of all, I won't watch it only because I've seen every episode. So I'm not gonna go on Netflix. And obviously, as a fan, he said
not on Netflix anymore.
Yeah, as a fan, he said not to watch it. I would respect as a fan, I would respect the artist or the comedian or the actor, just same way we flipped out about the Johnny Depp situation. I will respect the art. So I'm not, if Dave Chappelle says not to watch something, I won't. But he also has to be accountable to the fact that you're using your influence built by the people that you're asking me to boycott them. The reason you are Dave Chappelle is because you signed that deal. The reason why I'm listening to you is because I love you based on what you did there. And it's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean?
So what don't you understand?
I don't understand how a few weeks ago he's on the SNL stage.
But he made a comment there. That's where it started.
Yeah. He made a comment there saying, and I'm looking back, I took it as I'm proud that my grandfather can look back and see. I'm telling you how I interpreted this.
I'm saying.
His grandfather is looking back, seeing his name on a show that has generated billions of dollars.
And what did he say next?
What did he say next?
Man, this N-word was bought and sold more than I was.
Yes.
Meaning, he got bought and sold like a slave.
I know, but see,
to the networks. Now, I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what he meant.
This is why I get mad. This
is why kind of laying that word out for
This is why I get mad too, because this happens so much, especially in the black community.
I don't know. To be honest with you, this is making me lose a lot of respect for Dave Chappelle right now.
No, I wouldn't.
I just feel like you're crying. You're Dave Chappelle right now.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's the other side.
I tell you what, Dave, go buy the rights for your fucking show back.
I'm sure Netflix gave him enough to probably do it.
How about that? Do that. Bill Cosby bought the rights to the Little Rascals because he wanted it taken off the air.
And they locked him up.
Dave Chappelle can't go they locked him up for raping girls.
30 years ago.
Allegedly, apparently.
Exactly, allegedly.
But Dave Chappelle, stop fucking whining about it. Go buy your fucking show back.
No,
that's it. And put it out yourself.
I think what Dave Chappelle, the only good thing about what Dave Chappelle's doing is I think that for the first time, I think that there's a star big enough that was violated,
I think
that now everybody across all industries are gonna finally fucking pay
I don't
attention
think
to
it's
their
about the
contracts. Yeah, they're gonna.
I think it's unfair to say he was violated. It's like what you just said before. He was a young comic.
No, he feels violated.
Who
You're
was
right.
offered a deal and he jumped on the deal. Now, as a veteran, as
Bro,
someone looking back at it, not profiting off of his hard work, he goes, "Oh well, that
Can I
was
tell you
fucked
something?
up."
Can I tell you something?
It's Kanye West. Kanye West.
You
did this.
guys were music. You guys were musicians. I've been in that part of the game. I don't know how many times I've heard, "I'll sign." If they gave me this, I'll sign it right here. If
Right.
they gave, I hear that. I'm like, that's what you want?
That's what I mean.
If I got this, I remember one time you were like, yo, I want a fucking fully paid tour and a fucking tour bus or something like you said. And I'm like, I'd sign. And I'm like,
We sat
But
down
then I
with-
thought about the value of it. I'm like, merch. I'm like, I kind of saw where you're going. But then guess what? The back end of that tour.
then 360 deals got
Exactly,
that was
you know
before I knew
We
about
sat
360.
down-
That's my point.
We
'Cause
sat
you-
down
you
with a
only know what
lady.
you know.
We sat down with a lady from Capitol Records who sat there and was basically telling us how much they're hemorrhaging money and they're hurting for artists.
Oh, and that was it,
Katy Perry's catalog is what was keeping them afloat.
And the Beatles, I believe.
Oh, that's right. I think in the Beatles was keeping
But
that company afloat.
current money
yeah,
was
and it was just
Katy
like,
Perry.
I don't like what you're offering. I'm out of here. And we'll leave.
I mean, and that's the point. That is the choice you get to
I
make.
mean, I look back at that now at times, and
you
I'm
said
just like,
you should have took it.
maybe we should have just signed our souls away.
But that's what people understand. There's a reason why the analogy is selling your soul, because you have to give. It's corporate America. You have to give a piece of yourself to get what you want. And at the end of the day, the expression, it takes money to make money. Sometimes it takes some of your money, maybe on the front end. Sometimes it takes some of your money on the back end.
Yep.
But at some point, it takes some money to make money. The guy.
Well, there's different ways to go about it too, with contracts and stuff. Like
Yeah,
take the
front
management.
end.
Like the standard management. Like if you're a manager of a band or an artist, the
It's like
standard
10%,
thing.
right?
No. There's another standard. It's because of Christina Aguilera. It's this manager built you up, got you everything you.
You should get
she
more.
was like,
I fucking
bye.
agree.
No, had nothing to do with that. She fired him.
No, I fucking
And now
agree.
all the shit that he managed and got built up. She's some other manager's making all the money.
And he
So
should be
now
paid.
it's
He
if
should
you
be paid.
fire me, first whatever year I get this percentage, and then for the rest of your career I get 5%,
1,000%,
or whatever it is.
And I'm gonna tell you why that's important. You want to know why it's important? I'm gonna explain something. So
no one can just get fucked over.
It's not just that. I'm gonna tell you something. When I deal with people, right? Like my phone calls all the time. Like I got someone sent me 3 singles. They texted to my phone through a friend, and they're like, number 2's ready to go. I'm like, oh, whatever. But what's happening is, in a world of networking, I always tell people your network is your net worth. So in a world of networking, me passing your song somewhere or calling someone for you on 3-way, introducing you to someone, bringing you to a certain place, time, location,
You're worth a lot of money now.
has value.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you're gonna just take it and then
Tell you to go fuck yourself.
Tell me to go fuck myself. And this is why I am very weird and rude with a lot of people, because people are so quick to try to take your network and your friends, and because they know people scheme on you right now. They're like, if I just knew this guy that he knows. People do it on Facebook all the time. Oh, you're friends with that person? I didn't know that. Yo, what's up with this person? I haven't talked to him in months. Because what they want to do is leverage your relationships to better
it's
their
also-
stuff.
it's not a
I don't mind
horrible
that
thing.
because it's like, listen,
No.
like I know that people ask me to feature on tracks all the time,
That's
specifically because
of your
I was the front man of Oogeelee.
I know, but here's
ask
the
people
thing.
specifically 'cause
if
of who
that
they are.
song blows, you get paid.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Well, that's another
The only thing that
conversation.
happens, if anything, if that's there's the other
but then
side
he has
of
to go on tour, and then they got to bring him,
no,
and he has to do his part. They
there's
gotta
the
pay him for
other
that.
there's the other side of doing a feature. If that song blows up, then his name is on a song that blew
No, that's what I'm
up.
saying.
So it's a tit for tat. Unless you're
I
big
do
already.
features.
Like,
But you see that? But see, but-
I'll never deny a feature because I know that there's always
that one thing that can go.
there's always that 1% of their fan base that has no fucking clue who I am.
I get it, but my
In every
my
aspect,
thing is, if
you
somebody, if someone goes platinum on a single, you're okay with not getting paid for it?
in some respects,
it's like, okay, this is where it gets
This is
difficult.
what Dave Chappelle's talking about. Are you okay with not getting paid?
Nowadays with DistroKid,
I would be.
Really?
Because, all right.
now I wouldn't be because I'm not a touring musician anymore.
So like,
No, I'm talking about right now, 'cause
I've
he-
had this
he said
argument.
he's doing-
I've had this argument
Yeah, you
before.
gotta think about it.
With Nikki has said to me, he goes, I don't understand. He goes, you didn't charge them for your verse? He goes, this verse is great. And it's like, it's not necessarily about the money right now. It's about what
We're
it's
not there
going
yet.
to do
No, but I'm not
to build the future. Because
I'm
it's
not
like,
saying that you have to charge it. I'm saying you can say, yo, listen, I'm going to do this verse for free, but listen, it needs to be stated that I get points on the back end
Oh,
of
sure.
this.
Now it can be done easily because DistroKid.
Exactly.
right, so like
Because
I
of
just did a song
DistroKid.
with
Yeah.
Black Alex, right?
Yes.
We're getting ready to release another song
Yes.
together, and it's like me, him, and like two other dudes. And I said, in the group chat, I said, hey, FYI, this is my email for DistroKid. Like this is the email I use for DistroKid. Just tag me that way, and it'll appear on my Spotify, Apple, on all my pages as
For
well.
some crazy reason, that song
Perfect.
made $1 million and he has 10% of it, 20% of it, $200,000 goes
As
into
he
his bank.
should.
Goes into my DistroKid.
As
But
he
not
should.
only that, like, and I say this, I said this to Alex as a cross promotion way. Like, hey, I get a lot of traffic through my page that you don't get.
Right.
But now they'll see you if you do it this way. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's also now a way that I get, my writing credits for my verse on that.
And paid for your work.
And then you get,
Yeah,
you
but
get paid.
I'm with you, but this is why, bro. I'll give you an example. I won't even post something like social media. I have enough eyes on my social media from random people that people don't know that I don't just post anything because it's just not that. It's the game has changed because you have a different mindset and different heart than most people. Like me, if I make it,
Well, I
doing
I
something-
take on the
and-
Miller's
and-
Ale House philosophy. Ever
Which is
since
what?
Ever since that,
And what did Millers teach you? Someone left, tried to take some of their concept, they smacked them. They wasn't playing. They took money. They took money. They held back some of his money.
oh no. What I'm saying is,
Oh, I do.
no.
The
I'm saying
Cody
their concept of their company, the
High
way they do
volume,
it.
low income.
Right.
But it all equals to a lot of money.
A lot of money, like Mark Miller, or not Mark Miller. I
know you don't want-
Old
yeah.
Man Miller. I forget
Dave
his
Miller?
name now.
Was
I
his
forget
name
his
Dave? I
name.
think it was Dave.
Old Man Miller owned the gas station,
And he
right?
drove left
and he used
and
to
right,
drive
yeah.
around
I
every
remember
morning
the
and see what
story.
the prices were and drop his prices a penny. Every morning, would just
Yeah.
drop his price a penny, and he was always
You beat the other guy. I
Always
agree.
same thing with the whole we fucking rant and raved about the $5 pitcher, right? Like how the fuck are they doing $5 pitches here?
When you sell 11 kegs in one
Well,
day.
they had a contract with Miller Lite. which
But
is like-
regardless,
but
but
that-
when,
we
you're,
got
when
to
you're
it.
going through that much volume,
yeah.
you get hooked up, and now you're also making that in volume. So your place is always busy. So it's like
The downside is-
that's the mentality that I took because I watched that be successful. Where it's like, why am I going to, as a come up artist, why am I going to treat myself like a 5-star restaurant? I'm not. No one's going to pay 5-star restaurant prices for me.
It's 50-50.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Yeah, it is.
I would rather price myself at a 3-star restaurant and do $30K that way in volume. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. Yeah, there's
get
two
what
ways
you're
of looking at it.
It's 50-50 because I give examples. Someone introduced me somewhere. I went to a restaurant. They asked me, what do I think? I gave them my opinion, and I hit them with a hefty tag. They're like, really? I go, based on what you want to do, I said, what if I told you I understood your vision 100%? And the guy was like, what? I said, I know exactly what you want to do. When's the last time you heard that? I know exactly what you're trying to do. And what if I told you I could do it? How much you think is that worth to me? Like,
Right.
you think I should? So let me get this straight. You're happy that I understand what you want, but you just don't want to pay me to do it for you. Even though we both know if I truly understand your vision, and I'm telling you I do, then that means I truly understand the potential it could make.
Right.
So why would I short myself?
Sure, I hear you.
That's the mentality.
Because
Exactly.
it could certainly backfire on you.
That's
like,
the Travie McCoy way of thinking.
Don't tell me he lost money.
And that's the Macklemore way of thinking.
Oh yeah, but Macklemore
Macklemore
is the
never did.
number one
I don't think
independent
he's got a
artist.
single.
I think he did one feature.
Did he?
Yeah.
You sure? Mm-hmm. He must
And actually, it
someone
might have been
he
a
must
split
owed
song.
a motherfucker.
And let me
Yes.
tell- it
Okay,
might have been
that
a
makes
split
more
song.
sense.
And
Yeah.
bro, I'll show you something. Okay, so pre-pandemic, Young M.A. comes out, she's independent, right? Does her own shit. Her first bookings were like $500. I remember after she made her big song, blah, blah, $33,000 to get her in a building.
Yep.
So my point is like, you reach a maturation. You are what you are what you believe you're worth. Mm-hmm. You know, because I know artists that I see it all the time on social media. Yo, I'm doing discounts for features, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like,
right, but
I'm doing
hold on.
discount features. Hit
Young
me up
MA
now.
Young MA coming out for 500 to start off. She wasn't coming out with a fucking laptop and pressing play,
No, she had
She had a show.
She had a song or two.
but she had a show. She was able to perform.
Yeah.
She had lights, she had sound, she had a DJ probably, she had all the shit
Yeah, but-
to make a stellar
Maybe-
show.
Yeah, but if
Maybe
someone
not.
tells you, okay, but if someone
Maybe
tells
not.
if someone tells you to put a verse together right now for them, they're also tapping into your following, your base, how many people you've.
That's the idea of having features with people.
That's my
Sure.
point. So that has a price. The question is it on the front end or back end? Not does it have a price? It has a price. The question is it a front end price? As in, yo, listen, good looking out. I'll do it for you for $500, which is a throwaway money.
So basically,
Because
the way
if it
that
goes
we've been
platinum,
doing it is
he
on the
did-
back end.
On Long Island too.
Yes.
We've been doing shit on the back end. Like
And-
me and JP, instead of me giving JP thousands of dollars
Yes.
that he's owed
He
for
knows he's tied
the
into the
production of
so
my
he knows
album,
he's tied
of
into
this
the
album,
project.
we said, let's split everything.
Exactly.
We'll put it out as a split album.
Yeah.
we released it the way Macklemore and Ryan Lewis
Right.
released
Because
an
like,
album.
honestly, like that is,
And
I think,
and
so
that's why
me-
Chappelle's flipping the fuck out.
You see, this is what I don't get. No, this is what I don't
'Cause
understand.
He doesn't
Because
have the
again,
back end money.
It's like
he has the front end money.
I understand that, but it's like, okay, I think back to like some deals that we made, back in the day as Oogie and stuff, and it's like, yeah, I would love to take some things back, for sure. But I'm not going to sit here and fucking complain about it because it was a learning experience. Because at that moment,
Yes.
in that moment, if I brought myself back 10 years ago, I would make that same fucking move. Because what did I know then?
No,
Sure, if
you're
I could
right.
take all the knowledge I have,
I get it.
and go back, of
Bro,
course, I would do
listen,
something
I'll tell you right
different.
now, though, if
But-
Oogie Wow was a multi-million-dollar band that was touring the country, we wouldn't be harping on those stupid moves we made 5-6 years ago.
Of course not.
We've been laughing about it, like, man.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, but you're saying,
I don't know. I guess
you're saying that
I'm
from
also
your position
wired
now.
differently.
No, of
I'm
course,
wired differently
of course.
because I look at it as Chappelle. You're still crushing it. Your last 4 specials were probably, arguably, your best ones.
Okay,
Hold on. Start a new fucking Chappelle show then.
he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't have the energy. And
He doesn't want to.
He
And he
doesn't
can't.
want to
He
because
can't. He doesn't know
But
the
that's
name
what
to
I'm
that
saying.
show.
I look at this as, or I'm taking this as you just bitching and
Yeah, but
complaining
I'm gonna
now.
give you that. Okay,
I don't think he's what he's
Either go
doing.
buy the rights back and release it yourself,
Not what he's doing.
or start something new.
It's not about the money, is what I'm trying to tell you
Jesse,
guys. It's not about the money.
It's not about the money. It's the principle.
It's a principle thing of
I signed a
learn
fucked
from
up
this.
contract.
Right, learn from this.
No, they should have given him
And
a
don't fucking do what I
no,
did.
they should.
But-
They should have given him a kickback.
And fuck you to all my fans that were excited that Chappelle show was on Netflix that could watch
Stop
it.
it.
What do you mean stop
No,
it?
that's a good point,
Bro,
though. Bro,
are you kidding me?
fandom
I
is
was
a big
so
deal.
juiced
I agree,
up.
but
It's a big deal.
Me and George were texting back and forth about fucking
fandom-
Chappelle show. I can't wait to turn this on.
Fandom
Like,
could be. I see, but the way he spun it was brilliant.
Yes.
He didn't just say, "I took it off." Tough shit, everyone. He did it in a way, and he spun it to go, "Join me. If
Right.
you're my fan, join me." And then you got to go,
Yeah.
all right, fine.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
fine,
Like, yeah,
Dave,
right.
Are you gonna do like an OnlyFans where you're gonna release an episode every fucking week? That would be cool. Like I would subscribe to that because I loved your show. You know what I mean? Like
Jesse, listen. When
do
you
something.
Jesse, when you look back at it, it's always like that too. I give an example. My whole career in management. When I look back at it now, I hate all of it. I really do. But I love the experience. The fact that I can walk into buildings and click, click, click. That's a gift that I got from those years of experience. But those were all bad deals. I signed a shitload bunch of bad deals. All of them.
But it made
all
who
my
you were- it
raises,
made you who you are today.
Exactly. It made me who I am today. So the difference is if I had the type of money he had, I would not give a shit about any of it.
Right.
So that's why, but the thing is it okay to judge him based on the fact that he's rich? Like, can you be rich and not feel wronged? Because that's what
No, because I'm thinking right now,
That's
too,
what-
if we were a $1 million band and someone was making millions off another album that we did, I'd be pissed.
There you
regardless
go.
if I had the
and
money.
and that's the whole point. The point is, don't just because he's rich look
Hold
at
on,
it
no.
at he's wrong.
Hold
He
on.
can't be wrong.
I want to end
because
this
he's
segment,
rich.
but now I gotta ask you because
Go.
it's like If we signed, all right, Ride Waves, that album, if we signed with Atlantic, when Gene walked us into Atlantic with our demo, and we signed with Atlantic, and we made that Ride Waves album and put it out through Atlantic.
Which I think at that point, I would have signed anything.
Right,
Absolutely.
at that point, we would have signed. Well, not that we would have signed anything.
Just about anything.
You get my point.
But
if you got the money up front,
We probably would have knowingly went in with like, we're gonna get fucked there, but
yes,
it would
but
have
we're
been one of
gonna
those.
major
And I'm
distribution
saying,
blah,
looking
blah.
back at it now, would we really be like, man, this is bullshit. Fuck Atlantic. We need to get this shit
Depending
back.
how
No, we'll be
much-
like, all right.
But if but looking at it this
We were
way,
young, immature,
if we had
uneducated
But
artists.
Jesse, if we made that third album on our own, and we started making millions, and all of a sudden that album starts making millions, you're gonna feel like, well, fuck me.
No, what I'm going to do
gonna
is
feel that
I'm
way.
going to try to negotiate with Atlantic to get that album
Well-
back and release it on our own.
And it might
if
not be worth it.
And if they say, well, as per contracts that you signed, we'd be like,
Right,
okay,
right.
well,
But-
I signed that contract.
But Jesse, here's another spin of it. I'm gonna give you one
Actually, there was a little more of a spin to it. Let me say this. If Epic whatever the fucking record company was, Atlantic it was, if they went out of their way and sold it to someone else because they had the rights to and made millions to themselves, now that's what basically Comedy Central did.
Okay, so that's a twist there. So
you
you're
go.
saying. Okay,
You get-
so
see-
How much was Comedy Central getting paid?
Oh, yo.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Dave, I take everything back that I just said. No, that's an important twist there.
Yes,
That's an
yes.
important twist. Now, okay, hold on. Before
Okay.
I jump back on this. In the contract, does it say that Comedy Central
Owns.
can do whatever they want with it?
I don't know.
If it does, then I don't feel
It
bad for you
probably
anymore.
said something to the
It's in your
effect
contract.
of Comedy Central is a sole propriety of the Dave Chappelle Show. It probably said something just
Okay,
like that.
then guess what? Then they
which
could do
in
whatever they
micro
want with
letters, in micro letters, it says it. But I'll give you an example.
But they would have never sold it to Netflix if Dave Chappelle didn't become the biggest guy in the world.
I mean, again,
Which-
that's,
it's
that's,
a tit for tat.
that's
Which they banked
speculative.
on.
That's speculative.
That's
you don't
why
know
you do that.
You know,
they
like
banked on it. That's why you have this
Yeah,
contract.
Dave Chappelle's the biggest guy in the
They
world right
invested
now.
$50 million.
They're paying him God knows how much
I'm
money.
just saying that's speculative
Let's
because
sell-
it's like you could watch the Dimitri Martin show and that did nothing.
And
You know what
if
I
it
mean?
did,
Like,
they'd
No,
own that
of
too.
course.
well, I'm saying you can.
Just
and so
like
it's,
Carlos
they didn't,
Mencia,
I'm saying they didn't
just like-
release it. They didn't sell it
Because
to
I
Just like
Netflix
Daniel
because
Tosh,
of-
probably.
I'm saying exactly. You could watch them on Netflix. So it's
Yes.
not just because Dave Chappelle is the top comic that they did that. They did it probably because
But
they
how
were
much?
like, oh,
but
yo,
how much did Netflix were willing to pay because of Dave
Exactly,
Chappelle?
they paid a lot more,
There's
which
that.
Dave Chappelle's not
Stop
getting
it.
anything.
They could have probably got. They could have probably got
Right, what
fucking
Comedy
Dimitri.
Central should do is throw Dave some money and
That's
be
what I
like,
said,
this is
a
what we're going to
kickback.
do. Yeah.
Call it a day. Go on with your day.
Or if you're Dave, get your fucking lawyers involved, negotiate a better contract.
Sure, that's what he's doing
It's
now.
It's an old contract.
Contract.
You can't
You know,
break-
we'll
can't
do
break that.
50-50.
But
Who
I'll-
cares?
I'll tell you this.
You know, I don't know.
And here's another.
Fuck do I know?
Here's my last angle and take on this. Dave Chappelle, as a GOAT in this game, is, in my opinion, attempting to free people up of this contract nightmare. I'll give you another example. Prince was one of the first artists.
It's like he's doing what Metallica did.
Yeah, like Prince was one of the
Fuck
first.
Metallica.
More what Prince did.
Yeah, because Prince.
I don't know.
Okay, what Prince did is Prince was the first guy to teach people that you got to own your masters. That wasn't a concept yet. Like people just signed their masters away, and
Okay.
and Prince was like, "Yo, I own my masters."
I bring it back to Rick Ross. It's like, cool, you own your masters, but what are your masters worth?
Oh no, they're worth. They're worth.
I'm just saying.
Talking about
It's
Prince.
Like, well, I'm saying it's
Billions.
yes, for Prince because he made.
I know, but
because he's a megastar.
I know, but he's setting.
I'm just saying it's such a blanket statement.
No,
like,
but he's setting.
we own our masters.
That goes on and
what
never.
are our
but
masters
that,
really
that
worth?
goes
I know,
on
but
and
you
you never
understand.
know.
But-
situation.
Oh, yeah.
But the
okay.
idea is that you're educating all those underneath you, like Prince as the GOAT of his era made that distinction. I'll give you an example.
Nah, again, I'm going to argue this because it's
Michael
I'm just
Jackson
saying,
was, but we're going
I'm
on.
just saying it's because
no, he
it's
was
like
right after
it's,
him. I always consider Prince a little bit. Ahead
yes,
of-
that statement would have been fire. That's what everyone should have been taught 15 years ago. But now it's like the world has changed. The industry has changed dramatically.
And you're right.
now.
In every era, the GOATs of that era have to do something. I'll give you an example. LeBron James' legacy. Forget the championships, forget this and that. His legacy is going to be player empowerment and player mobility. The idea that I can play where I want to play, with who I want to play with, and you're going to pay me. Fuck you. So that's his legendary as a GOAT. And Dave Chappelle is saying, yo, listen, if my name is on it, I get paid.
Yeah, that's what Prince was doing a long time ago. Before streaming, by the way, Prince was doing.
Right.
So,
and this has been going on like
it was a bigger deal.
This is corporate America as far as entertainments and athletes forever. Like Chris Webber, I tell people the story. Chris Webber was in college, and he was away, broke. And he saw his jersey in the store, and he flipped the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then because this has been going on, like, and don't get me wrong, I look at it as a cat and mouse game. Corporate America does what they do. Eventually, somebody fights back. They don't always fight back. Some people just get robbed, and they're happy. Some people go, listen.
Some people don't know the law.
No,
this is why lawyers have jobs.
Exactly, and not only that, but some people say, you know what, Jesse? Some people go, I was so poor, my life was so bad. Jesse's making billions off of me, but I'm making millions, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of ends, and some people go like, no, I want every fucking dollar that's coming to me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's like Diddy. And when that signed for Diddy, like,
yo, I support it all. You want to sell out or
buy in?
I hate sell out. You know, like you want to sign that contract at a young age.
Knock yourself out.
Go do it. Go do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the best advice I can give you is hire an entertainment lawyer or some sort of contract attorney to review your contracts that they can word it to you in ways that you understand. And if you agree with it all, fucking sign away. Don't complain about it 20 years later.
You can't say that because everyone does. That's the point.
Right. I'm saying I can say that because it's annoying.
I know what you're saying, but you will come to a crossroad where you look at the numbers and you will be frustrated. Okay, I'll give it.
Sure.
This is my last example. There's a bartender.
I'm over it. I don't care.
No, I get it. There's a bartender at another restaurant that I know.
I told you it's different than that.
The bartender was frustrated because of how they get treated, yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, all right, how long you been working here? 5 years. I'm like, excellent. What do you ring in every Friday, Saturday? About $2,000, whatever. So I'm like, so you do $4,000 a weekend. I'm like, you multiply it by four weekends in a month. So you're doing
$16,000 for this restaurant a month.
A month. I'm like, you have an opinion. You have a fucking opinion. Go tell them go fuck themselves and go give somebody else $16,000 a month. But you see, but people,
but is he ringing people in because they're going there to see him?
No, they go to see. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's been there 5 years, so he has the following.
And the question is it also the place?
But then
a combination?
I mean, again,
it's tricky with
think about it.
bartending.
It's tricky, but you
it's
get
the
my
treatment
point.
that we got for years.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I knew that no matter what,
and
no matter what bar I was working at, my job was comfortable.
And you know what's so funny? Who was case in point? What's the guy's name for Momo's?
Richie.
Case in point.
Yeah.
Case in point. Everyone
horrible bartender. For years, the best bartender.
For years.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. For years.
He was a terrible bartender, but the best bartender.
For years.
He was amazing.
Yeah. For every
weird.
Yeah. No, and he's a case in point because for years people are like, I don't have to work this shit. I could open my own bar and do the same shit these people. And then you get the managers and the GMs that go, no, you can't. You don't have this. You don't have that.
2 bars later.
And 2 bars later, I was fucking right, and every bartender is fucking right.
Yeah.
And he's hard on his bartenders. He's always, and the way his values were, he puts them on that.
Well, think about
the bartenders
you don't know that. If you don't know that bar,
and he took the best.
You need
the best from the corporate
he literally
structures.
took the best, probably on Long Island. He was like, you need to learn everyone's name that sits at your bar.
Yep.
And that was a big
because
deal.
You know why? He understands that
personability.
There are certain things. Okay, I always tell people about corporate America.
Richie was the worst bartender, but so many people wanted him.
Exactly.
Wanted him to make his drink
because he knew your name.
Because he knew your name, he knew what sports team you liked, he knew your family. He was personable, and he genuinely cared to know you.
Yeah.
And guess what? He made money. He made lots of money for people, and then he decided to make it for himself.
Yep.
And eventually. Yeah, he opened up Momo's with a few guys, but eventually I think he bought it all out.
More power to him.
I know. My wife is their attorney.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, more power to him.
So, shit comes with the bar. I don't know if I could ever do it. I don't deal with fights and fucking lawsuits because someone got stabbed, but I'm good.
Exactly. And that's why there's a personality to all of it. But like I said,
fucking Miller's Ale House had cops getting hit on the side of the road because, you know what I mean? Like, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
When that happened.
Remember that?
You don't remember? You were there with us. We were working after one of those crazy fucking Saturday nights.
Guy pulled out and fucking ran over a cop on a routine traffic stop.
Yeah. And he came from our place.
And then
I wasn't working.
And we immediately said, that's
who the fuck knows who was working.
We immediately blamed it on
maybe Richie was working.
Oh no, because I got the wrath of it that next day.
You got
I'm
the
sure you
wrath
did.
because
Jesse, yeah.
of just the way that building ran.
It's like, motherfucker, I wasn't even here.
Doesn't
I
matter.
didn't overserve him. Like, I wasn't even.
But you
in the
might have done
building.
it if you were here.
But see, okay. And then we're gonna go.
You're a leader. People look up to you. You're supposed. Oh, God.
We're gonna go somewhere wherever you want to go after this. But this is why this is my love-hate relationship with corporate America. That right there, the fucking
Accountability.
unadulterated, unfiltered hypocrisy.
Yes. God.
Like,
And they do it like, mwah.
yo, ring in more cells. Don't overserve. Like what?
Yeah.
Talk to your tables. Run your food. What? Yo.
Why are there 18 shots of Patron on here, and there's only 4 guys at the table? Because at shift meeting, you said we have to push Patron.
Yeah, like, what do you want from my? What?
And now I'm getting in trouble for what?
Yo, be nice to the managers. Why didn't you tell the manager he was wrong? What?
Right.
What? Like what? That's not my job. Like
That's
what?
like the whole adage.
And that's corporate America because they love
wonderful.
it.
Not too much, not too little.
No, you know what?
Soak it all up.
You know why?
The
Because
sauce is thick.
They got to hide behind the hypocrisy. They built a hypocrisy wall and just got to push people's points.
But that's the
nonstop.
legendary. The restaurant industry is the legendary. I'm your boss, so you do what I say, not as I do.
I know, which is why. That's why now when I look at restaurant
That's
businesses
why now I
struggling,
love my
I don't
business.
feel so sorry for them. I gotta be honest with you. I look at restaurants that struggle. I'm like, I blame it all, man.
That's why I love my restaurant.
That's why
They're
I
not
love
like
Glenn
that.
Prince.
They're not like that in my restaurant.
Glenn was the OG, man. He came in. He was just like, nah, I don't fucking care. I'm here to do my
Managers
job.
just-
He did
he
his
was so
job.
good.
He was the
Who's
top
Glenn?
server.
Glenn. He didn't know.
I feel like I remember this guy.
Kodiak's.
Was he
worked with
skinny?
him at Glenn.
Yeah, skinny.
Skinny.
He
with
was
the
always
funny
closing.
hair.
Questionable. Yeah.
He guys look like Screech to me.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of ish.
Oh yeah, I know exactly who he is.
Glenn, he
Just
had the I don't
gives-
give a fuck attitude.
Yeah.
Negative shits, not even zero.
But I've always said that.
But he was the best server. You never had to double
Yep.
check his shit. His
Use them because they're
Never
using
had a
you.
problem.
No, he's right. Use them because they're using you.
that's it.
he
he's
made
smart.
all of the money and went home.
Because he was the best.
He probably has a $500,000 in his bank account right now. He did nothing.
Bro, this is years.
He did-
This is before Oogie. I remember because Lisa and him lived in the same apartment complex.
Legendary savers.
Right?
That's
Yeah,
so
and-
funny that
Glenn at that point. Now we're going back fucking 13, 14 years ago here. Glenn at that point had enough money in the bank saved off of waitering to buy any house he wants in cash.
You know what it is? You guys call it saving.
He had over 300K.
It's not-
I call it not living a life.
No, it's not legendary saving. It's,
Hermit.
He worked every day.
it's legendary not spending.
Glenn-
People make money.
Right, not
It's
having
just
a
that
life.
People,
You could
No,
not
you
go
see,
to
this
Puerto
is the thing,
Rico.
though.
amount
This
of people
guy,
who
this
live-
guy was a genius
And he
with
didn't
his
spend it.
money.
He didn't
It's
spend
not
it.
that he didn't spend it. It's
He didn't spend, bro.
It's not that he didn't spend. Like he had a new car. You know what I mean? Like he did do things. He went out, and like had a life.
Okay.
But he was just frivolous with his savings. He used to say, okay, this shift, I know that I need to make this much money
Yeah,
to
great.
cover my rent for the month. He would make his rent in that one shift. And then he would take every other shift he was working that week.
and stock. And
The
stocking.
days
boom,
when you can make
boom,
rent in
boom,
one shift.
Boom,
I know. Can
The
you
days
imagine?
are over.
Those days are over.
One good weekend sometimes doesn't do it, depending on where you
Yeah,
are.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Especially when they moved into that.
When you
they
make
moved into that
$1,500 in a
townhouse.
day.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I had my best day was 950, and that was
I made 1860 one night.
What?
Morbitos.
okay.
What?
Small little biker bar. I went to Lisa's apartment, same apartment I was just talking about, with where Glenn lived across the way.
Motherfuckers throwing.
And I just
you stripping?
I dumped a bucket of money on her living room floor, and I was like, I need help sorting and counting. And she had this big smile on her face,
She
and
just
she was
loved
just
money.
like, "Welcome." Oh, what'd she say? She goes, she goes, "Welcome to private bartending," because it was. I knew
Yeah.
we were corporate bartenders at this point. She broke out, went to Colin's place,
Mm-hmm.
started cleaning up, making like 800-900 cash a night. I saw that and was
insane.
like,
I'm out. Yep.
I'll go to the biker bar. And yeah, sure as shit. I mean, it was a consistent Wednesday nights there. I was making 4 or 5 cash.
My restaurant,
and then
$50 tips are norm
I agree.
where I am.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's the norm. If I have 8 tables, I could make at least $200.
No.
8 tables.
Bro.
That's a dead shift. That's
no,
nothing.
listen, I'm with you.
That's just 2 people can walk in and ring
8
up
tables,
$179.
that's a full night. What are you doing?
What I'm saying, like
Gene's like, 8 tables.
Nah.
8 two tops.
Busy Friday.
I'm
8
on
two tops.
yeah.
How about 8 two tops?
I love 8 2. I love 2 tops.
All right.
All right, what else?
You want to talk about the monolith?
What's the monolith?
Do you guys know about the monolith?
What's the monolith?
You don't know about the big giant metal fucking...
By the way, 2 weeks ago, you forgot. We were supposed to talk about Release the Kraken and you forgot. I forgot to bother you.
I did.
Because it came up somewhere, I'm like, fucking JP. But again,
the monolith.
Once I get a computer and I'm all set and nice, we'll be able to,
Release the Kraken.
function this a little more. You don't know about the monolith?
I do.
What is the monolith?
You know it's gone now, right? It disappears.
This is what I don't
weird.
get.
What is a monolith?
What is a monolith,
Yeah,
or what
me
are they talking
A
about?
monolith is something that looks
I
like
have no idea
it's a
what
big,
it's
just a big fucking... A monolith, it's a fucking...
No. So a monolith is formed naturally, usually due to erosion. Okay, you learn
big
about
pillar.
this. You learn about this in
Geology.
Geology, basically.
It's a pillar.
Like earth science.
Okay.
So no, usually a monolith is formed because of erosion. Usually,
They
right?
call it a monolith
It
because it's
erodes away.
shaped like a monolith.
Got it.
So a monolith could be a mountain. It could be any sort of
Yeah, I get it.
rock
No, I get
that
it.
just
All right, Professor Jesse.
metamorphic
Move
rock
on.
that just appears.
Okay.
Right? Which is why usually it's due to erosion. This thing that happened, I don't know why you're doing that. He asked what a monolith was. We can't have a conversation if he doesn't know what it is.
No, I got it.
Because this is what's confusing, is that there's this article about this giant monolith that showed up in a Utah desert, and it's like...
It's shaped like a monolith. It's a monolith. It's figure.
So maybe-
It's not that it's an actual monolith. They call it a monolith because
It was clearly structured. Someone obviously
It's a
put it
structure,
there.
yeah.
So maybe the aliens
It's
gave us a
not
gift.
a natural forming thing. It appeared, and now it disappeared, and
Jesse's
now it's
getting
gone.
technical.
Oh, it disappeared?
It's technically not a monolith. Yes,
So the
but they
aliens-
call it a monolith because
aliens-
It appeared out
it's
of
a
nowhere.
structure.
Aliens misplaced their thing and picked it back up, basically.
No, what it looks like
Nah,
is
it's
it looks like
definitely
a
a joke.
mirrored prism. Essentially, it looked like
it's a big square rectangle.
right, but it has like a metallic mirrored image to
Yeah,
it.
it's made of steel or some shit.
So what's it?
It was made out of some sort of
So what's
metal.
the
It's just
theories?
the
What's the
fucking
theories?
news is going crazy because it just showed up. They don't
So
know
what's
who the fuck
theories?
put
What
it
are they
there.
saying?
I read an article about it, and they were
Yeah.
trying to say that there was a sculptor that put it there, and then there were these other art historians that were
definitely was.
like, "This sculptor did not make this, no way." And it lost me after that because I was just like, "Oh, okay, someone put a fucking piece of metal in the desert, probably took some pictures, and then took it down." I don't know.
But it stayed there for like days before they took it before it went away.
From what I was reading, again, it didn't say a time frame on it. It just, to me, it
Days.
seemed like it was there for a day and then it disappeared.
No, it was because I've been seeing it for days, and then a couple days later, it's gone. So yeah, I think it's
What caught me was
it could be just
monolith appears in a Utah desert, and I was just like,
you took the geological term,
right, I'm
and
like,
went,
Yeah, that's right.
did the desert sink? Like, what do you mean? What happened? Was there a windstorm?
my
was there?
gosh.
That's what like.
Yeah.
Was
I
there
think
an
they just-
earthquake? What happened? How did this thing just appear in the middle of the
I think
desert?
they just called it a monolith because of its shape, and it just sits there like a monolith. It has
Gotcha.
that structure of a monolith.
It was confusing.
I don't think they went like literal with it.
It looks like a sculpture. It looks like someone
Somebody put it
put a
there.
piece of metal art
How far is it
Yeah.
from
in
Area?
the middle of the desert.
How far is it from Area 51?
pretty far.
Pretty
far.
Like maybe
Yeah.
it just fell from space.
I think
One of the
so.
other things I wanted to talk about, but I feel like we kind of covered it, was who Willie D is from the Ghetto Boys. He did the interview on Joe Rogan.
What did he say?
It was actually an amazing
I didn't watch
interview. It's a really good interview.
I was like, it's not Bushwick Bill. I don't care.
He's dead. No, but the stories he tells about Bushwick are fucking classic.
Oh yeah.
Bro, they talk
maybe
about
I'll
that.
watch it
They
then.
talk about the album cover and how he did and how it came about with Bushwick
okay.
Bill on the fucking on the gurney.
Oh wow.
He made a point saying how they should teach conflict resolution in schools.
Yeah, we do. It's called the backyard. Lunchtime.
No. They should actually teach it.
No, they have.
It's called lunch school.
I don't know what he's talking about, but if it's what
Saying
I
how
think,
people just get angry and just react
Well,
in
no,
a
you
bad
see-
way, in like that in that liberal fashion.
I have this.
I'm not going to go see my parents because they
I
don't
have
agree
this
with me.
disdain for conflict resolution in schools right now because. Okay, so
I gotta hear this.
basically because they do this already. They have conflict resolution in schools already, and it's not a national implemented thing.
Oh,
but
so
they
some
do.
states do,
but they
some
do.
don't.
Yeah. Like certain classrooms.
Unless he means
some
in his
people
way
do.
conflict resolution, Willie D himself.
Yeah.
Well, basically, what it is
Maybe
like
outside.
they have these other students called peacekeepers, and they're usually older students, right?
Yeah, I don't think
And
he-
if
yeah.
there's,
So they're-
but this is what conflict
No, I know,
resolution
I
is.
know.
in
Either
schools.
cops or
so it's
switches.
if there
Keep
are two
going.
kids that are fighting, right?
They call the cops.
In fact, I think one of the examples that I saw was like two kids were fighting, obviously staged because they were filming it, to show what it was. But two kids fighting over a book, right? I want it, give me it. No, I want it. And they're fighting, and then a teacher steps in. Says, what's the problem here? She took my book. No, he took my book. Okay, we need to go to the peace corner to resolve this. And then an older student gets brought in who's a peacekeeper, and they have a conversation about their emotions of, Johnny, what is bothering you? Well, Lisa took the book that I had. And how did that make you feel? That made me feel mad. Lisa... What happened? Johnny had the book and I wanted the book. Okay, we don't take things from people. How did that make you feel?
I see what you're getting at.
What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, no, we don't. Willie D, I'm sorry. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I don't think he's talking about that.
That is conflict resolution. So if he's saying something, then you need to get your shit straight. Because you're pushing out an agenda that's already being pushed here, and I see it being fucking disastrous for kids.
Well,
because there's not that in the real world.
I think he's talking about people who need to learn how to not react off emotions in a sense of. I don't think he meant it in a, okay now kids, you're going to have to go to the corner. I think he meant it in his own way.
Well, definitely. And it's not, because this is an agenda that's being pushed in schools, is teaching kids to be able to handle conflict. And I feel like, no one should have a problem with that. I think that's an admirable trait to teach people.
It's the way they go about it.
Right.
That's the problem.
I'm doing the same thing with Avery. I touched on this last week when I had my fucking explosion, and I'm sitting here, made me cry, right? I had a breakdown. I'm telling you got to learn how to control your emotions, and I didn't control my emotions.
Right.
So I get the necessity of it, but the way that they're going about it, it's like
they're gonna go super liberal and super schoolyard about it. Of course.
How did that make you feel?
I think, believe it or not,
it made me feel mad. I wanted to punch her in the face.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I think.
Where do you go from there, peacekeeper who's 8 years old? You know what I mean?
I think. It's kind of weird because, believe it or not, I think that they need to think more outside the box. I think that
what they're doing is they're training
future professors.
Bitches.
No, they're training
future professors.
Who's going to go in? Who's going into domestic violence calls? Instead of the cops now.
Okay.
Oh my gosh!
You see what I'm saying?
Peacekeepers, like you said.
Yeah, they're training. I lost the word.
I'm gonna show how that goes.
What's the name?
Hi, who are you? I'm a peacekeeper. Slams door.
Right. I heard that this is a situation that needs some conflict resolution.
I'm like, oh man.
All right. I get it.
Can't.
You know what?
Did you hit
911? I tell you what though,
811?
I'm not going to speak for Willie D. I will check out the. I will check out the interview.
It's an awesome interview because Mike Judge is there in the beginning.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what I do.
Let's go. I'll check it out.
I'll tell you what I do think, especially it's a little bit out there, but I think that they should work on children yoga. I think they should work on children learning how to meditate and stuff like that. And I don't.
Avery does yoga every day now.
Yes, I think
I put it. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off because I agree with you immensely about this.
Going towards this thing.
I think it's called Cosmic Kids Yoga, and it's fucking awesome. The instructor is great. Like obviously, probably a preschool teacher at some point in her life, but it's cool because it's also like kind of like cosplay in a way too.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
act like a dog.
Right, like she'll dress up as like Cinderella, and they'll have like a Disney type thing.
Basically fooling him into yoga.
Yeah, they'll do like an astronaut thing, and then there's like little aliens, and it's great. It's cool.
That's what's needed because
that's actually a brilliant storefront. Actual like when we can have people in the same room.
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant thing
yoga.
to.
Yeah, sure.
No, because it
helps her too. When she starts getting fucking anxious, like especially with the lockdowns, and you can't go to the park because it's got the caution tape still around it, and blah 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 blah. It's like, let's do some yoga.
Yeah,
let's hang out and chill and shit. Let's do it. Get my yoga mat. It's great.
I think eventually there needs to be an educational revolution because I think that kids need yoga, kids need meditation, they need to learn how to, when they get older, the checkbook stuff and bouncing money.
Buying a house is so complicated. Honestly, if it wasn't for my wife, I would be like.
That's what I'm saying. You need more financial literacy
like,
in high school. You need more relaxation, more meditation.
I can learn over time.
In school, like the whole thing from top to bottom.
But not everybody. And that's the thing. This is what I don't like about the generalization of we need to implement these things. Because not everyone benefits from things like that. Like my wife, Melissa doesn't benefit from meditation.
How would you know?
Because she's tried.
And it doesn't work?
And it just doesn't work. She can't, like, she's too active of a brain. Like, she's just going too much.
I know, but
Avery's like that, too. It's
like going to the gym. It's like...
Yeah, that's something you got to learn. You have to force yourself to do it.
Till it works.
What I'm saying is
you can't say she's too busy, because then someone like Joe Rogan, who meditates all the time or does yoga, is the busiest guy I've ever heard of in my life.
I don't mean busy. I mean brain. Like, mental capacity.
I know,
like, like, when it comes out, like, Melissa's IQ is drastically higher than Joe Rogan's. You know what I'm saying? So it's...
Still...
I'm just saying you can't...
I think that's a mind
That's pseudoscience.
I think that's a mind over matter.
What I'm saying is that not everything works for everyone. Like the same things don't work for everyone. Like anyone that says that I'm wrong on that, you're an idiot.
No, of course you're right about that.
Because meditation and yoga, Western or Eastern medicines don't work all the time.
I know, but if they,
you know what I mean? Like,
I'm saying you can't correlate those two because you don't know that either. Though.
I'm just saying it's
if children learn how to meditate and do yoga at 6 years old, it will work when they're 30.
Maybe
if
if that works for that person.
Yeah, listen. If a child can't do it, a child can't do it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I think that
like going for a run helps out my uncle immensely.
That's another thing. Like phys ed back compared to when we went to school to what it is now. Like these are things that they have to really.
I will tell you though, like that feeling after you leave the gym. It's the greatest feeling ever.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's just getting to go and do it. It's like the fucking
you know what else? You know what else is great for stress too?
We're serious about what?
Cigarettes. Smoking a cigarette is awesome for depleting your stress.
I'm not teaching anyone that.
Exactly, because that's not. But for some people, it works.
Yeah,
for some people, that's their thing.
Also a corporation. I'm not paying for a cigarette company. I'm not going to teach.
You're missing my point.
I get what you're saying. You're saying that just because something works doesn't mean it's for everybody.
NyQuil makes people anxious.
But what I'm saying is,
but that's a body thing.
But what I'm saying is,
some people, right?
It's something to be explored because I think that we're running out of options for children. We're running out of options. We need to do it.
I don't know why we're so focused on children. Like leave the fucking children alone. The children are fine. Okay, let them go outside and play, or let them sit in their room and read whatever they want to do. Whatever.
I think that
there's too much focus.
But how much shit did we learn that was actually just bullshit?
Exactly.
Because they changed the story. That's the point. He's saying take away that shit.
Take away that crap and teach them something.
Believe it or not, what I'm saying is I'm saying that we need to chill on the. Everything needs to be revolved around and focused on children. Children are still children.
It's the most malleable mind.
It's not just that too.
What I'm saying is
if we actually had a bigger impact on children when they grow up, I think they'd be more effective. That's what I'm saying.
I got something for you, and I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson who said it, or maybe it was Michio Kaku, and I think I might have mentioned it. I don't know if I mentioned it on this podcast or not, but he said when you ask kids in second grade, first grade, hey, would you want to learn about space, astronomy? And they're all like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But then when you go to a 12th grader, they're like, there's something that happened. In other words,
it was a lack
kid is
of
curious.
Interest.
Right. A kid is curious. So at that point, if you want to teach them something that may benefit them, if it doesn't work for them, it's not a big deal. That would be the time.
It's got to be a video game.
Because that's when...
Sure. Yeah,
I
see what you're saying.
For instance, me, if you put on yoga right now, I'm going to be like, nah. But your daughter's like, fuck yeah.
I'll give you an example.
Hold on, because that's what I was trying to say before. We need to not focus so much on children, where it's like, every day is regimented and scheduled, and this is what you have to do. I'm saying like that.
I'll give you an example.
That's the society that I think that's the society that we have gone into. Is the soccer mom structure, the soccer mom schedule of I pick you up, we do this, then you go here, then you do this, then it's soccer, then it's dinner time, then it's homework, then it's bedtime, and then we repeat the cycle. Like no,
some schedule is good though.
Absolutely. I'm not saying that organization and structure and discipline is bad. No, that is certainly necessary.
You gotta ride that wave a little.
I'm not saying like here, have your kids do whatever the fuck they want. No, of course, like you need to have structure.
Try and work with them with their schedule.
Right, but like how many many times are parents sitting down saying like, well, what are you interested in? What do you like? I'm not trying to relive my life through you because I fucked my life up, which I feel like most parents do. It's like, you know what, gave up on my dreams. I'm going to live them through you now. And, it's like, sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah, but the kids
I love talking to Avalee, right? And I love listening to my wife talk to Avalee because they have drastically different conversations.
I know, I get the text all the time now because she told us the story of she just asks her to Google shit all the time.
All the time. Last night, it's like, I thought she was sleeping.
I got a text from Melissa. She's like, she just asked me to Google a chinchilla from the other room.
Yeah.
It's great. Because when she was here for Friendsgiving, she was telling us the story of, how she's like,
very
always
curious,
asking questions to Google shit, and Melissa's like, I don't fucking know that. We'll Google it later though.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, Melissa's learning shit.
Like we watched the rocket launch, right? And we sat there, and obviously Link is just like, oh cool, look at that engine,
Fire.
And then shoom, he's off, like he's gone. But Avalee sat there and watched it, and then she was asking questions, and she started asking me questions I don't even have the fucking answer to. Like, well, why is it called outer space? And I'm like, it's the outer realm of space.
I don't. It's outer of Earth. That's all it is.
But I'm like,
it's a good fucking question.
It's a great
That'll
question
stump
for a
any
5-year-old
fucking physicist and be like,
I'm like,
good point, little kid.
Yeah.
They'd be like, what? Who are you?
And then now it's like, then she started getting into right after that, she was like, can you show me a video of the sun?
Yeah.
And I was like,
wow.
Where was I for that one?
And then she was, that's what I even said to her. I was like, you got to talk to Uncle JP about this because he's the space guy.
Gravity,
he's blown my mind a few times on late night drives. Like in the tour,
you were like, wait,
it's like,
what?
What? Explain this to me again. There can actually be a black hole like right outside, and what? Like crazy. So I pull up a video of the sun, and it's not like, she's 5. So when she sees the sun on videos that she watches, what does she see? She sees like a cartoon sun.
Right.
No, I pulled up a fucking video of the sun and gas
Angry,
and solar rays are just an angry fucking thing. And she's like, that's the sun? I go, yeah, it's just a big ball of burning gas. And she's like, that's really cool. And like, but like,
the one that got your wife was the gravity thing.
What?
How gravity? How come we all fall, but how come things aren't falling? Why isn't the moon falling?
Avalee asked her that. Oh,
right.
Wow.
And it turns out, and I was sitting there going, everything's actually falling all the time. And then Melissa's like, well, it turns out everything's falling. I go, I know.
You're right. Yeah,
everything is actually falling. It's fucked up. Gravity's fucked up. All it's fucked up.
I love it. I mean, again, like random things. Like last night, the thing she wanted to watch a video was a narwhal. She's like, can you pull up a video of a narwhal?
It's a weird fucking, like that one has the one horn, right? Yeah, it's a fucking weird animal.
And I'm like, where did you even hear about this? A
chinchilla?
And she's like, oh, aquanauts. Oh, okay.
Aquanauts.
And her brother watches Tots, which Tots is, I actually really like Tots. It's a, I forget what it's called. But whatever, it's about stalks that deliver babies, right? They're a baby delivery service, and then there are these there's a penguin and a flamingo. They're a team because penguins don't fly, clearly, and whatever. So it's a cute show, but Lincoln watches that every night. So they deliver all types of animals, So like now it's like any animal that pops up that Avalee never heard of or whatever. She's just like
screaming from the room, "Fucking Google
Can you
this!
Google this for me! I want to see it."
Yeah, that's awesome.
When she's on that, when she's learning how to type all that shit, she's gonna be on.
No, that's good. She's gonna learn like a sponge.
I was listening to her this morning when I was leaving. I was like, "Holy shit!" Like,
teach her how to hit the microphone.
She's fucking reading right now.
Teach her how to hit the microphone button. She can Google whatever she wants.
Yeah,
no.
He doesn't want her in the system. I agree.
No.
I agree.
I am not showing her.
What is it, chinchilla?
I am not showing her the speak to text.
She's gonna learn that shit.
She needs to learn how to write and read first.
Yeah, I agree.
Once she can fluently type in what is a chinchilla, then I'll show her what.
Oh, by the way, all that time,
I agree, because what's so funny? It's so funny you said it, because that's exactly what I was thinking too. Like all the stuff that we learn in school, like the different math, and because nowadays kids are using calculators. So all those.
What are you gonna have a calculator in your pocket? knock it all day.
All these classes. Today we're going to do the 9 times. We're going to do the 9 times multiplication table. I'm like, oh, here we go. That sucks. Now kids don't even have. So now you got to use something else that can be productive in their life going on. Because the whole idea of school is supposed to be life skills. Remember, guys?
Yeah.
So meditating and yoga can become a life skill.
Yes, and
so you
I
don't
also
flip
just
the fuck out
when
your boss tells you there's going to be an extra bartender on today. You're like, holy shit.
That's fucking with the pockets, bro.
I do yoga.
Yoga's gonna help that.
Listen, I do yoga and I meditate every morning.
Yeah, I do it every
for
morning.
years now.
Yeah.
Ever since I had that stroke on tour. Or that
Sorry
minor
to laugh.
stroke.
It's not funny, but
no, but ever
I'm just
since
thinking
then,
of the
it was
eye
a
right now.
life-changing thing. So it's like every morning. That's why I wake up earlier. As my coffee is making, I pop my headphones on. I do 10 minutes of meditation every morning, and it does. Like it makes me start my day better.
Yeah.
So I wasn't knocking that. I'm not saying that we shouldn't teach this kids. I just don't think that. I don't think that we should force. Right. I don't want
1 o'clock.
her fucking teacher in school teaching her meditation, regimented. You know what I mean?
Like, doesn't make sense.
And to be honest,
these are spiritual things that help you develop yourself and get you through life. Like, we could do these either together, or you can experience it on your own. That's just how I.
In kindergarten, that is what we did because we had playtime. Some kids sat in the corner.
We had nap time in kindergarten.
I remember that.
We were ahead. Some kids played. Some kids napped. Some kids went and played with their little truck.
Yeah.
Some kids did their own.
And that's such as life. You know what? I don't have a fucking. I think we went pretty long, so we're not gonna do a Rushmore this week.
Really? No, we gotta do Rushmore.
I don't have one.
Well, you better find one. We live for the Rushmore.
I got a Rushmore.
Ooh.
What's up?
Best tequila.
Wow.
I know you guys are in on this.
Yeah, man.
I showed Gene the best tequila a few weeks
I'm
back.
looking at it.
No, that's good, but it's not the best.
Bomb.
All right.
We're fighting it.
First of all, have you guys ever had Cabo Wabo?
Yes.
Look,
I have a
Sammy
bottle of
Hagar,
that.
bro.
That's a phenomenal sipping
I got a
tequila.
bottle of that.
But
that is a sipping tequila.
Yeah, but
Cabo would have been
that's a sipping tequila.
my top choice if you'd asked me 6 years ago.
No, but that.
I just think this is a combination of good marketing and good taste. Like as a package, it wins overall. Like
Good taste.
This could have been in a fucking. This could have been in a plastic bottle. I'd be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
No, it would have made a
Who
big
the
difference.
fuck made this?
It would have made a difference. You wouldn't have been that excited about it.
I don't know, man. I think this is number one. I know we don't do. It's technically not a number one, but we always do a number one. Fuck you. This is the number one.
Yeah, I like Don Julio.
I like Donnie.
Donnie's
I would
good.
put Cabo over Don Julio, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
I agree with that because I have a bottle of that too in this house.
Which
and
leaves us
I wasn't
one-
really.
I just feel like Don, and people are going to shame me for this, I know it, but to me, Don Julio, all of them are mixing tequilas. I don't like the smoky flavor that every Don Julio, even their silver has that smoky-esque.
No, I had
I
the
think.
76. I think it's called the 19. Yeah, the
42.
70s. No, not that one. It's a different
I never
one.
had that.
Oh, that's good. Put that
That one wasn't too smoky.
No?
Now, when you go to like certain kinds, like you could take Jose Cuervo and just dump it in the fucking toilet, not even in the sink. Dump it in the
It's
toilet.
not. Jose Cuervo's not a
Technically
tequila.
not a tequila,
Yeah.
right? And when people are like, "Oh, hey, Jose,"
No.
we used to have this one dude who only drank Jose. If you gave him anything else, he thought it was gross. Like,
Those
bro,
Jose
you
guys
you
are married
have,
to the absolute girls.
word.
I mean, absolute at least is vodka.
Stop.
It's at least vodka.
Okay.
It's technically still a
Jose
vodka.
Cuervo is not tequila.
All right,
Yeah,
so
it is,
I
yeah.
got Class A. I think Cabo's definitely going to be on
Cabo's got to be on
Yeah,
there.
Cabo. Like,
there. Got to put Casamigos on there. Good old
You got to put Casamigos on
I
there.
don't know about
Bro,
that.
Casamigos is not-
Because the Casamigos is going through a phenomenal.
It's trendy right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I
it's a
feel
big
'em.
publicity
Let's
stunt.
see how they
It's
do
great,
in-
yeah. Let it because Cabo.
I mean,
I
you-
drank Cabo Wabo 15 years
But
ago.
we put it on
Yeah.
the list already.
What?
We put it on the list already. I'm saying,
What?
like,
Cabo?
yeah.
Cabo's on the
so
list.
I'm saying Casamigos
Has not earned
is
it
a
yet.
good tequila.
It's a
It's
hot
a very
song.
good tequila, but I understand
It's
what
a hot
Gene's saying
song.
because it's popular right
Yeah,
now.
it's
It's
just-
like throwing Fireball on the list.
Yeah.
Fucking 7
And by the way,
years
I want
ago,
to rephrase this to a mainstream tequila because there's
Exactly. That's exactly what
hundreds
we
of
did. That's
tequila.
exactly what
So
we did. We
like,
did mainstream.
Oh, right. Yeah.
it has to be mainstreamish. I mean, Class A is not so mainstream.
Whatever
It's becoming
tequila we can get here in the States is what we're
Yeah,
talking about.
what's legal.
right. Yeah. Right.
You know what? I'm also a big fan. I've always been a big fan of Trace.
What's Trace?
Trace Generation.
Yeah.
Oh,
Trace
I know,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
fantastic.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
And they've been around for a long time.
I like the Casamigos. Listen, your boy Clooney did it right.
I like the
Telling you right now.
Casamigos. Like that would be up there for me.
I'm not saying it's bad.
That Casamigos Reposado
Casamigos is going through the Patron phase, like that whole when everything was Patron. And
I agree.
And those
I agree.
Patrons didn't make the list because that's what happens. It fizzled out.
Well, because Patron wasn't that good. I would honestly, I would put
agree.
1800 over Patron.
I agree again.
That's the smoky one, by the way.
I agree again.
Not their silver.
Oh yeah, I don't
1800 silver is not an ounce
know,
of
but
smoke,
it's
but they're
something-
gold.
it's a
Yeah, it's
different
fucking
flavor.
smoky as
And
shit.
1800 mixed coconut. You gotta love that.
Ew, do they?
Oh, it's,
Are you serious?
yeah,
You never
had it.
Jesse was very against using coconut tequila. He would rather put the coconut flavor
Yeah.
in to coconut margarita.
I don't like artificial flavoring in anything.
They do a
but
good
that's
job
just the
with it, though.
methodology.
It's not
1800
bad.
coconut is like
It's good.
I would try it. Yeah,
you
I'm
can
not
drink it on
knocking
its
it until I had
own.
it.
Splash of pineapple.
Because, I mean, listen, think about what I said, and then all of a sudden I found the Van Gogh line, and then boom, redid an entire restaurant's drink menu to nothing but Van Gogh.
I know because we had 30 different bottles.
Which
of
is
that
funny
shit.
though, because Van Gogh. Then I remember when he did it, I was a big fan of it. Like now I'm like,
You don't
Yeah,
see it
now I'm
anywhere
over
though.
it.
Now they got like you'll see the double espresso.
yeah, now I fizzled.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Now I fizzled.
Well, I mean, I feel like me at Kodiak's
should
ordering
cut-
that shit, we kept that fucking company alive for a
Oh,
while.
I mean, come on.
Bro, we were ordering cases.
We were ordering a lot
They
though.
should cut you a
of
check.
every
Of
flavor.
Of every flavor.
They should cut you. No, but the
They
idea,
should have cut me a check.
The idea.
I want some ball game
See?
tickets.
That's a classic example. We didn't know what we knew now.
That's
See?
right, yeah.
If I was in my feelings right
All
now,
right,
I'd call them up right now.
All right, so we got
Yeah.
Class A. We got Casamigos.
We got Cabo.
We got
No,
Cabo.
you guys are sneaking Casamigos right
It's
on the
going
list.
in, Gene.
It's going in, bro.
You guys
You
are hard.
throw out a fourth. Throw out a fourth. Throw out two more. If you want Casamigos on, because we got two for it.
Tasting the Casamigos compared to Patron,
No,
I
get
taste
it.
the difference.
I get it.
I do,
One, had
and I
this
feel
one
the
tequila. I don't
Casamigos is
remember
better.
the name of it.
It is better.
What?
To me, the Casamigos over Patron, I think it is better personally.
Sipping wise, fuck
Yeah.
Like it's not even a
I
comparison.
think. It's funny too.
I don't
I do
think.
happy hour at a Mexican bar like every
mean,
week,
Patron is still
and I
good,
drink
though.
all of them. Stop. Patron does not make the list. But yes,
No, I'm
Patron's
not saying
good.
it does, but I'm saying like Patron's still like if we're talking about like what
It's the
has
Grey Goose and
held
tequila.
up. Yeah, but
Bingo.
like yeah, you
And
smashed
that's not
it.
even a compliment technically.
And I hate Grey
No,
Goose.
it's not a compliment at all.
I like Kettle
Yeah.
One way better.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a
Right.
I
compliment.
hate Goose.
There you go. And
Goose is just way too sour on that bite. It's just like
it does
Nah,
something
Goose,
where I'm like,
Goose
this
got
sucks.
too commercial.
I mean, listen,
and
you
I don't
mix
think they
it.
cared about the product anymore.
Yeah.
no,
if
what
you
happened?
mix it, you
Tito's
mix
came
it.
out.
Nah, Tito's.
Tito's just went white women. Hi.
Nah,
Yeah, they
Tito's
used
overrated.
they used the buzzword and cashed in.
Overrated.
That's
Gluten free
it.
my ass. Overrated.
Like gluten free.
Organic? Oh yeah, gluten free. That's what it was. Yeah,
free.
yeah.
Meanwhile, almost every other vodka is gluten free.
Yep.
That it's a potato vodka.
I remember saying this when my stepmother got the
Celiacs.
celiacs, and my father was like, "Oh man, it's like, I got to try and find a vodka for her." That I was like, "Any vodka." I go, all vodka is gluten free.
Not
He's
all.
like,
Most.
You
And then
gotta
he said,
check.
he goes, I don't think all. And I
I
was
don't
like, I go, I'm pretty sure most of them. Then I Googled it real quick for him.
I don't
and
think.
I go,
Show
I go,
potatoes,
Dad,
potatoes.
anything that is triple distilled is. Because that's
After
when it
Wok
came
is-
down. Because
there are grain
Smirnoff
vodkas.
was triple distilled.
Smirnoff is. I know
gluten-free.
because an old bar I used to work at used to use that as Tito's, and they used to get caught all the time.
Oh,
And
gross.
Smirnoff is good.
I don't believe everyone.
No, but I don't
believe-
like anyone that marries bottles.
Oh no! Yeah,
me tell you
no,
something.
that's disgusting.
Tito's-
It's a
You're-
disgusting
you're a
move.
horrible person.
I don't work here anymore,
Tito's
so
price
fuck 'em.
increase, I'm sure is followed by a bunch of places doing the wrong thing. That's why I feel sorry for people who are into the real gluten thing of it, because
Yeah.
you have no idea what you're drinking at that point. Because it's just the way people manage. They do the wrong thing.
Psychosomatic.
Tito's isn't. I mean, listen. When it comes to
We're
vodka,
talking vodka, guys.
sorry,
We can do top vodkas.
Tequila.
You want
What
the-
is our last tequila?
You want
you're
double?
right.
Let's
I
double.
digress as usual. Always,
I used to like Vox vodka too, but okay. Tequila.
motherfucker, tequila.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you're a tequila drinker, so I know you
Because
know.
I keep it simple. I don't really fuck around. I don't.
Hornitos?
No.
I
Sauza.
hate it.
Sauza is like Milagro. Like, I throw them together.
I'm throwing Trace out there for the fourth.
For commercial, yeah, I guess it's
They stood the test of time. They're on every top shelf.
I can't do it without Googling. Hold on. I mean, I
Trace,
don't know.
what is it? Trace Generation?
Yeah.
Generation.
I don't
You
know.
gotta say it right. It's not generation. Trace Generation.
I'm white.
It's Tres
I'm a
Generation.
white American.
I'm
Trace
Italian.
Generation.
Let's see what
This guy Googling?
Look at this Casamigos. It blows up. This is
Bro,
sad.
what do you,
Their marketing
what
is
do you want?
through
It's
the roof.
good. It's good
It goes to
tequila.
the class, so you got that.
Of course.
I said down Julio, you guys shut it down. Oh, this is good. I
You
remember.
shut down Don Julio.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, you
I would
did.
put Don Julio up
Actually, I'd
there.
put Don Julio over
This
Trace.
isn't too bad.
Trace. Espelon is pretty good.
Espelon is good. That's Bumpin' Ugly's drink. Brandon, for a minute, was just sipping bottles of that shit.
Yeah, I know. He mentioned
Yeah,
it. It's on the cover of the song.
Don Julio.
I could concede to Don over Trace just to move this
Yeah,
along.
I think so.
I personally like Trace way better, but
No, because Don Julio also has all these different types. Like you,
No, they do it right.
You can go from little to $600 in the club. Like you can, you know.
Same thing with my baby over there. So it's Clase Azul,
Yes.
Casamigos, which I know you don't like, but Don Julio,
Cabo Wabo.
and Cabo Wabo.
Come on, Sammy. Let's go,
Sammy,
bro.
my boy, Sammy.
Don Julio owes me a check.
Thank you for watching. If you made it all the way through,
Dave Chappelle, owes me a check. Yeah, that's gonna be everything. Everyone owes a check. Chappelle's right.
if you made it all the way through this long ass episode, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Subscribe and like. I'm JP. That's Jesse. That's Gene. Come again.
You got it.